Beautiful sun-soaked afternoon as finally the Braves and Dodgers get underway. Can the Braves defend their World Series crown? Can the Dodgers make amends for a bad October last year? With their World Series win last October, the Atlanta Braves validated their claim of being baseball's team of the 90s. Now their focus is on a loftier goal, to repeat as world champions, something that's happened only once since the 70s. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, postseason success is a more distant memory. Their brief appearance last year left a bitter taste, and now they've endured an 8-year exile from the World Series. Will the Braves extend their reign as baseball's best? Or will the Dodgers author another Hollywood script? Welcome to Los Angeles, where the world champion Atlanta Braves start their quest for what they hope will be another successful October against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman along with Buck Martinez. So glad you could be with us. Boy, we get to kick off both National League Series, and that's exciting. The Atlanta Braves certainly last year finally validated everything that we've known about them since the 90s. This year, Buck, nobody has to apologize for a 96-66 record. But fact, their percentage is way under what it was last year. And except for 1991, the first time this club made the postseason, this is a percentage lower than every other divisional championship club. So the question, are they as well prepared to win it this year as they've been in the past?
Probably not, Chris, when you look at their lineup, because they don't have David Justice Power in the lineup. They lost Jeff Blauser for a long time, and Steve Avery is not in the starting rotation. But when you look at the top three starters, including John Smoltz, you've got to believe that they're in better shape than ever because Smoltz is riding a real crest of a wave. Smoltz won 24 games in a regular season, and you can see his 5-1 postseason record. Remember, not long ago, there was a time when Bobby Cox would go to John Smoltz as his Game 1 starter.
Well, he's the best pitcher in baseball this year. But you know what? When you talk about pitching, I think, Buck, the Los Angeles Dodgers may be the only team in baseball that can match the Atlanta Braves starters, and maybe it's certainly at least in the bullpen. But they do not hit for the same average as the Dodgers. Their power and run-producing ability is not as good as the Braves. Do they have enough to break through against Atlanta's pitching staff and win?
Well, I don't know, and that's going to be a tough question here. But the big thing about the Dodgers is they rely on three guys, Mondesi, Piazza, and Karros. And the Braves have really throttled those three guys this year. If you can shut down the three guys, you can really have a good series. You see the Braves' big three against the Dodgers. Ryan Klesko, he's not hitting much. Chipper Jones hitting under 200. And Fred McGriff with just one home run. So you can see that the pitchers are primed to be dominant in this series.
What we're trying to say is runs will be at a premium this afternoon and throughout this series. John Smoltz, he had the 24 wins against a guy that can bring the heat just about as well, Ramon Martinez. Kick back, relax. Braves-Dodgers coming up.
ESPN's coverage of the National League playoffs is brought to you by Lennox. For the finest in home heating and cooling, Lennox. One less thing to worry about.
To Los Angeles, a beautiful afternoon, 76 degrees here at lunch hour, and a fashionably late arriving crowd at Chavez Ravine. But you couldn't ask for more here. October baseball, and the Atlanta Braves are digging in for what they hope will be a 3.5-week run like last season. Our FedEx starting lineup looks this way. Bobby Cox, no surprises here. Marquise Grissom opens up in center field with a season he's had 200 hits. Mark Officer Lemke, a great player in the postseason, is at second base. Chipper Jones, the switch hitter, is at third base now. He's going back to third where he was an all-star. The crime dog, Fred McGriff, hitting at cleanup. Ryan Klesko is in left field. Javi Lopez behind the plate. Jermaine Live and Let Die, the young right fielder, hits seventh. Jeff See-Through Blauser is back at shortstop, hitting eighth. And John Smoltz hitting ninth against the right-handed hurler from the Dominican Republic, Ramon Martinez.
Ramon Martinez goes to the mound tonight. This is his first start in this postseason, obviously. For the season, he made 27 starts, 15-6, and a very good ERA. Look at the strikeout total for Martinez. He's always been a power pitcher. He missed about 6 weeks of the season because he pulled a groin muscle way back in April in Wrigley Field. He got to come back to the mound. He hustled down the line, so he has missed some time, but he is really on a roll lately. The Dodgers in the middle of the pack in the National League defensively. Look at the outfield of Hollingsworth, Kirby, and Raul Mondesi. Mondesi with a cannon for an arm in right field has 11 assists this year. He is a real weapon for the Dodgers and threw out a runner at the plate in that tough game on Sunday here to finish up the regular season.
Well, the other 3 series are underway, Buck, and the Dodgers and Braves are saying, what about us? Let's play some baseball. With a couple of days rest is something we'll talk about for the Dodgers, and that really may have helped them out after what they went through this weekend, taking criticism all over. Marquise Grissom swings at the first pitch. Greg Gagne, throw is low, but Eric Karros digs it out. 1 up, 1 pitch, 1 down.
I don't care who you are, how much postseason experience you have, you're always anxious to get that first play behind you. Greg Gagne gets a ground ball on a first pitch of the ball game, and he goes into the hole. Very kind of guided over toward the plate. He's had some problem with his shoulder. He throws the ball in the dirt, but gets a nice scoop on the other end by Eric Karros. That one's out of the way.
All right, now let's play ball is what you're trying to say. Here's Mark Lemke, the pride of Utica, New York. And Martinez is in there for strike 1. Lemke's average is at .255, but the importance and the glue that he is, Buck, not only on defense, but really as a spark plug in that lineup cannot be underestimated. I mean, you just have to think back to that first World Series that the Braves played, and he was the hero in all those home games against the Minnesota Twins in '91. And he's been a big October performer.
You can see 91 miles an hour. Martinez has a pretty good fastball, but the key to his success will be his ability to get the breaking ball over. We haven't seen it yet, but Piazza wants to get to it early in this ball game. Another good fastball.
On the outside corner says Steve Ripley for a strike.
Martinez throws a good running fastball, a four-seam fastball, and a slurve in between a curve and a slider, and a pretty effective changeup. Cranking it up a notch.
Yep. Working Lemke away. Really, the way you look at both teams here, and we watch Martinez and Smoltz work, is it unlike the American League series that you've been watching? Rip, but Karros very goalie-like at first base. Glove save and a beauty. And there's 2 outs here in the first inning.
Now, the first time the Dodgers tried to come inside the Lemke, they went with a four-seam fastball, and Mark hit it like a bullet right to Karras at first. Karras goes a step to his left and then goes down on one knee, spares it, and then waves off the pitch and take the play himself.
As in all baseball teams, Buck, 3, 4, 5 are the big hitters, but more here in the National League than the American League. What I'm trying to say is where there are home runs up and down, let's say, an Oriole lineup or Texas Ranger lineup, or certainly a Cleveland Indian lineup. The premium, and you pointed out at the beginning, on Chipper Jones, Fred McGriff, and Ryan Klesko versus Piazza, Karros, and Mondesi will truly be where this series turns.
Well, that tells you the quality of the pitching in this series. The fact that Chipper Jones doesn't have an extra base hit against the Dodgers this year. That's the pitch right there that the Braves are really concerned about. The high fastball from Ramon Martinez. They've got to lay off of this pitch. You see how Chipper Jones sees it, tries to check his swing, but goes around too far. They've got to force Martinez down into the strike zone.
2-1 pitch is swung on and missed by Chipper. Keep this in mind, and the Dodgers pretty much all right-handed, so that in Chipper Jones's 30 home runs this year, 24 of them come from the left-hand side of the plate. So the Chipper Jones we're going to see against the Dodgers is the more power-packed Chipper Jones. However, Ramon had the power there. A high heater and a 1-2-3 inning for Ramon Martinez. Fans on their feet here at normally City, LA. Are they into this postseason? Back in the bottom of the first inning on a beautiful day in Los Angeles. A beautiful first inning for Ramon Martinez. And now Bill Russell taking over in the middle of the year from Tommy Lasorda, who was up here in the press box that we just saw. This is his FedEx lineup when it positively, absolutely has to be there overnight. He's going with Wayne Kirby, a member of the Indians last year, hoping that'll rub off on this squad. He leads off in center field. The youngster, Todd Hollandsworth, hits second. Then it's Mike Piazza second in the batting race behind the plate. Eric Charismatic is at first base. Raul Mondesi at right. Tim Eli Wallach is at third. Delano DeShields at second. Greg Gagne with the spoon is your shortstop. Ramon Martinez is ninth against John Smoltz, 24-8.
Well, Ramon Martinez sent the first salvo in his half of the inning. Now it's over to John Smoltz. Leads the majors with 24 wins. Look at 253 and 2/3, 276 strikeouts. Smoltz primarily loves to work the outer half of the plate. He'll pound that outside corner with fastballs and hard sliders.
Chipper Jones in on the grass, watching for Wayne Kirby. It's kind of a veteran outfield role and leadoff spot role that the Dodgers obviously have been searching for since Brett Butler's cancer, and then Alfred return, and Brett is on the bench in uniform. But they really never figured this out. Delano DeShields didn't run there as Brett. And is there a better site than this, Buck?
Great to have him back on the bench, and he will be in charge of positioning the outfielders when the Dodgers are on defense.
But he went through, put it all in perspective. Meanwhile, Smoltz is 1-2 to Wayne Kirby. But with his absence, they've been shuffling for that leadoff spot. DeShields really didn't work, and they had Milt Thompson as a backup outfielder. Chad Curtis, they're not really that thrilled with his play. Little chopper that McGriff is going to have to hustle on. Oh, and he missed the tag. Smoltz says to Eric Gregg, no, he didn't. And here comes Bobby Cox. Well, that was just mass confusion at first base.
And now Bobby Cox comes out to talk with Eric Gregg. He said, man, I was right here. Cox said he tagged him way over here, Eric. Now, wait a minute. You got to get some help. Fred McGriff was trying to cut off the base path. John Smoltz was doing his job covering. It was going to be bang, bang at first. And look at Cox saying to Gregg, listen, he tagged him way out here in front of the first base bag.
Well, McGriff almost, Smoltz made a screen to McGriff. He couldn't get to the bag.
Now he's going to go back to Ripley, the home plate umpire, and talk about whether or not there was an interference situation. Cox says, didn't you see that play? Didn't you see him come over there and tag him?
Left fielder.
Bobby's not going to win this one again.
Well, we need to take another look at this. It was just a confusion of feet more than anything else, Buck.
Well, you're going to see McGriff deep at first base. It's a swinging tapper down the first base line. Look at Smoltz. He knows he's got to cover, but he never can get out of the way of McGriff. And then McGriff reaches around and tagged Kirby, but Eric Gregg said that it was too late. McGriff said, wait a minute, I hit him.
Let's look at the tag again, maybe another angle.
Lots of things going on because Smoltz comes right in between McGriff and the base runner, but reaches around and tags Kirby. We have the benefit, of course, of slow motion, a lot of different angles. Eric Gregg didn't. He had to call it when it happened.
Well, he's at first, and they call it a base hit. Even though it appeared from that angle that maybe the tag was put on. A tough play, but really a play that never should have happened. Either McGriff need to be a little bit quicker to the bag or just flip it to Smoltz. So really, say what you want about the call, but the Braves a mental lapse on that play, and it's cost them. And now the left-hander Todd Hollandsworth, perhaps another Dodger Rookie of the Year. Going is Kirby, and he's gone. Javi Lopez fired a strike to Lemke, and so now we're back to where the Braves felt we should have been. He should have been out. There's one out, and let's pitch to Hollandsworth.
Now, this was a hit-and-run play, and Kirby got a very deliberate break at first base. Smoltz is set. You can see it wasn't a great jump, but Kirby's looking at the batter all along, and then when Hollandsworth swings and misses, he knows he's going to be in trouble down in second as Lemke applies the tag.
Chopper to McGriff. Now, do you think he's going to pitch it to Smoltz? Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Let's try it the other way this time.
Fool me once, shame on you, right? Fool me twice, shame on me. Of course, I was a little bit harder. And now, you know, they've been sitting around for a couple of days, both these teams, and Gagne's first throw was low, and you're right, Buck. Let's get playing baseball.
Yeah, they all need an inning or so to get under their belt and get these jitters out of the way.
Now, as we talked about 3, 4, 5 of the Braves, here is 3, 4, 5 of the Dodgers. And Mike Piazza who really struggled getting tired at the end of the year. I mean, he's only a catcher. I said he was second. He's third behind Gwynn and Ellis Burks in the batting race. 336 for anyone, of course. 336 for a catcher, amazing. But in his last handful of games, Mike was 9 for 43, which calculates to 209. And I think he was just a little bit quiet, a little bit tired at the end. Buck is only human.
Look at this defense. It's really interesting. They're really giving both lines to Piazza. There's that great slider down and away. The reason it's significant is because Piazza doesn't hit any doubles. He's got just 16 doubles, so they're trying to take away all of the gaps up the middle, take away the singles. They'll give him the lines because the odds are in their favor, and that's a great shot of it.
Very interesting. Although right field guy is way over to right. There's room in left center. So it's a real interesting configuration, Buck. You're right.
Mike talks about facing Smoltz, and he's very aware that Smoltz won't come inside to get him out. He said he's going to be down and away, but he's got a slider that he throws with 2 strikes that Piazza calls a lane changer. It just gets up there and then shifts to the outside.
Missed a little bit outside, and the count is full with 2 out here in the first.
Mike said he didn't want to go to the plate trying to figure out what he was going to get. Just make up his mind, something away, and take a good swing at it.
Got him looking on the outside. Good pitching by Smoltz. Yes, I think the tone has been set by John Smoltz and Ramon Martinez. Runs to be at a premium. Chris Berman and Buck Martinez back at Dodger Stadium. Inning number 2 now between the Braves and the Dodgers, and the crime dog, the personable but quiet man, Fred McGriff, leads it off. And he fouls the first pitch away. Fred McGriff, for the first time, and it's not often that Fred does not hit 30 home runs. But he missed this year, having 28 after, remember early in the year, not only was he hitting for power, he's one of the league leaders in batting average. Nothing wrong with those numbers, Buck, but he certainly had a better first half than second half, although he's come on the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, there was a point in the middle of the season that he didn't hit anything, but you can see his second half, just 8 home runs, and he really lost his stroke, and he was having a tough time figuring out what was wrong. Piazza asking for the peel, and I think that was just a courtesy request. They feel that Fred McGriff, this is the Dodgers, got a little bit too pull conscious in the second half. So they think they'll be able to get him out away. Little tapper he swings at. I watched Freddie a lot in the second half of the season, and I think he got to a point where he was moving before he picked up the ball out of the pitcher's hand. A big power hitter like McGriff actually needs to go back a little bit as the ball is coming toward him.
This is ripped down the line, but foul. Now, Freddie, yeah, there's some new seats down there, as there are in many of the ballparks in the postseason. There's 3 extra rows down there, and it changes some of the configuration of the ballpark, Buck.
Well, really down into the corner, you can see how close those seats are to the foul line. That could cause an interesting bounce or 2 down there. Boy, that's a good pitch. They went inside on the previous pitch and tried to paint the outside corner with that sinking fastball.
Just want to follow up on well, here's the pitch again.
Look at the movement. Just off the plate.
Freddie reaches out and drops the Braves' first base hit off Ramon Martinez in front of Raul Mondesi.
Left fielder.
Got to keep you posted on the other ball game. The Indians have tied it in the top of the 8th. And so that's a 4-4 Cleveland-Baltimore game in inning number 8 at Camden Yards. So McGriff on first and none out. That'll bring up Ryan Klesko, who, like McGriff, got off very well this year. And all told, Ryan with an outstanding season of 34 home runs and 93 RBIs, 282.
Well, this is a big series for Ryan playing in the postseason here in Dodger Stadium. He grew up down in Westminster, down south of the LA airport. So got a lot of family here.
The pitch for Martinez on the outside corner, strike 1. Well, again, it's interesting. You set the table here with the fireballing pitchers and the 3-4-5. Both the number 3 hitters, Chipper Jones and Mike Piazza, struck out to end the first inning. So now we'll see what 4 and 5 do on the respective teams. McGriff started with a base hit. Oh, that's heat that Klesko can't catch up to 1 and 2.
He's not thinking about a soft single to left, is he?
No. He doesn't usually.
He was all loaded up for that high fastball from Martinez. But once again, they're going upstairs, and the Braves are swinging at that pitch. They're really playing into Ramon's hand right now. They see that ball so well, it looks so hittable, but there's a little extra hop on it when it's upstairs.
Count is 2-2 to Klesko.
It's interesting that Martinez hasn't thrown a breaking ball yet. He has used 4-seam fastball upstairs and a sinking fastball down and away. He's still got that very good changeup in his back pocket.
There was one.
A little bit of a breaking ball there. Didn't have much break on it, and that's what Piazza was going to keep his eye on early in this game to see how good his breaking ball is. He has what they call a slurve in between a slider and a curve. You can see just a little bit of movement, but it wasn't that great a breaking pitch.
Outside, Klesko has worked him to a full count. Now, one thing to keep in mind, even though Ramon Martinez has been an all-star and has been a 20-game winner and has thrown an 18 strikeout game, those 20 game wins in the 18 strikeout game, that's back in 1990, except for last season. No postseason for him, and there's a big difference between he and a John Smoltz. There goes McGriff on 3-2, and it's foul back. His one postseason start last year was game 1 against the Cincinnati Reds, and he was bombed as the Reds swept the Dodgers 3-0. So Ramon already is feeling better in the postseason than he did last year. He was gone, what, inside of 4 innings last year.
Well, the first time you go to the post in the postseason, you have a tendency to put a little too much emphasis. We heard Todd Stottlemyre talk about it yesterday, how he made the game bigger than it should have been. Maybe Martinez has gained some experience from his previous start in the postseason. He looks to be very relaxed today.
A very good parallel between Stottlemyre and Ramon. Certainly Todd delivered yesterday for the Cardinals. McGriff goes again on 3-2, and it's going to be a double play. So Klesko is struck out and a strike by Piazza. 2 down.
Well,
in one fell swoop.
You can hear the reaction of the crowd, not only for Martinez's strikeout, but maybe more for Piazza's strike to second.
Catcher.
McGriff, of course, is not a speed demon on the bases, and he's got a conservative jump, and once he sees Klesko swing and a miss, he knows he's in trouble. But Piazza throws a strike on the money to DeShields, who puts the tag. Strike him out, throw him out.
You know, Freddie looked like he double clutched for a second there, about a third of the way down. I don't think it would have made a difference, but
I think he was full speed.
No. Trying to give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Well,
you take a gamble with veterans,
sure,
right?
You expect the ball to be put in play, and that's why you have that surprised appearance halfway down.
So the base is clear now. Javi Lopez right into the glove of Greg Gagne. So 2 strikeouts through 2 innings for Ramon Martinez. We head to the bottom of inning number 2 at a sun-soaked Dodger Stadium. No score, Braves in LA. Back in the bottom of the 2nd inning, John Smoltz has seen that Ramon Martinez is on, and Buck, so now Smoltz deals with Karros, Mondesi, and Wallach, and he certainly dealt with Mike Piazza, didn't he?
Well, let's take a look at the Piazza at bat. There's an inside fastball off the plate, the slider down and away, swing and a miss. Another slider off the plate this time. You see they're staying away. But then Piazza gets too much in his head and can't pull the trigger on that outside fastball. That's one thing Piazza was trying to avoid, thinking a little bit too much, trying to get in Smoltz's head.
When the Dodgers stumbled early on this year, Piazza has had a full, strong season at the plate until the last few weeks. But Karros and Mondesi, it really took them a couple of months to get going. But Eric Karras has probably been as hot a hitter as they've had lately. Well, he and Mondesi each hitting in the last handful of games, last couple of weeks, in about the 350 zone. And you see, for the season, Karras has put up an impressive season. 34 home runs and 111 RBIs. In September, he and Mondesi have come on. Oh, bottom fell there.
Now that's a good fastball with the real good movement. And Karras, much like Piazza, is the type of guy that has to drive the ball, and you can't think about pulling Smoltz. Everything is away. Fastball, slider. He won't throw too many splitters to the right-handed hitters. He doesn't really need to. He's got such good command of that fastball, and he can drop that slider on you anytime.
Karras gets aboard here to lead off the second inning, so it's very much a similar deal. The number 3 hitters each struck out. The number 4 hitters, McGriff and Karras, each have reached base. The number 5 hitter for the Braves, Plesko, struck out into a double play. What can the number 5 hitter, Mondesi, do for the Dodgers? It really is, when you're talking about John Smoltz and Ramon Martinez, you're almost like trying to move up trench by trench. You know, it's kind of like a World War I thing. You're not going to pick up much ground in a hurry. You look for any little advantage. So now the Dodgers have a runner on with none out. Let's see if they can move him over, or if Mondesi can move one out of the yard.
Now that's what he's got on his mind right now against Smoltz.
Taking a long look at the signs flashed by third base coach and longtime Dodger Joey Cask of Amalfitano. Slow roller to Blauser. He double clutches, and Lemke, they can only get the lead man. It might have been tough to turn the two anyway as soon as the ball was a slow roller, but that was Blauser double clutch. Remember, he hadn't been out there that long.
And that's another first play for a defensive player.
Number 29.
Takes you a while to get rid of the jitters, even when you're a veteran like Blauser. And watch the double clutch right here. He's got a perfect double play ball, but he didn't get a good grip on the ball. Then he's got to re-grip it. And this time he leaves his partner out to dry, Mark Lemke, and all he can do is get the force out at second.
So Tim Wallach is up. He ended his years with the Dodgers last year and over to California. Then when Mike Blowers was hurt, they came back and picked him up. Blowers not on the postseason roster, at least this year. And Wallach, who had some good years here in L.A. after some great years in Montreal. And it comes back for one last hurrah. And boy, he was overmatched on that pitch by John Smoltz.
Now Smoltz has done that all year long, overmatching hitters in the National League. And he says, you know what, I don't even want to think about the word shadow. He said, I've been in the shadow of a couple guys, and I don't think that's really the word to describe our situation. Maddox and Glavine, two of my partners in the starting rotation, and I think we're all pretty good.
Yeah, I would say that's an understatement. I'm going to try and put in perspective in the next couple innings how good a season John Smoltz has had while he looks in to try and do away with Wallach. All right, Timmy was one of those like a Wally Joyner we talked about yesterday. His first year came up rookie, Montreal, 1981. Make the postseason. They played against this club, the Dodgers. Remember, they lost that memorable 7th game. A guy we saw about a half hour ago up there in the booth, Rick Monday, hit a home run. You figure, well, this is going to be like this all the time. Well, he never returned to the postseason until last year with the Dodgers. A gap of 14 years. So maybe he has one last crack at it. Patient. Smoltz misses. Count is 2-2.
To give you an idea how tough John Smoltz is, everybody in the National League knows that he's going to pitch you away, knows that he's basically fastball slider, and they still can't hit him. 54 fewer hits than innings pitched.
That's unbelievable. And more strikeouts than innings pitched as a starter. This is outside. Wallach is doing a good job at the plate. Count is full. Just to go on with Smoltz a little bit. 6 complete games, of course. He's made 35 starts. In 23 of them, he's gone 7 or more innings. Now get this one. 35 starts, 18 of them, half of them, 8 or more innings. fly ball to right field. Jermaine Dye will get under this easily. And back to first base is Mondesi, so there are 2 outs. That'll bring up the line of the Shield. But let's continue with what Smoltz has done.
Number 14.
In only 8 of his 35 starts, Buck, has he allowed over 3 earned runs. And except for that one little span right going into the All-Star game, and then he was unbelievable in the All-Star game, except for a 3 or 4 start span and 1 or 2 odd elsewhere, it's not as if he threw all these numbers up in 4 months and coasted the last 2. Shields waved at that one. He's only, there's the Shields, who's really been a disappointment to the Dodgers. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Well, he says, you know what? You don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure out I've had a bad season, and it hurts. It really hurts to come out here at Dodger Stadium, take the position, come up the plate, and have the fans boo. And that's his situation here.
Again, to talk about Smoltz, and Bill Russell knows that runs will be at a premium. The job that he's done since taking over for Tommy Lasorda, who is 41 and 35. Smoltz is 24-8 record. He's only the 3rd pitcher in the last 10 years to win 24 games. Bob Welch had that year with the A's at 27. Frank Viola won 24 with the Twins in 1988. You know who never won 24 games? Bob Gibson.
Really?
Surprising, huh?
You would think that Gibson would have had more than 1 or 2 of those types of seasons.
Who was a better power pitcher than him? Maybe Walter Johnson?
Didn't see him pitch.
No. I think he won 24 games a couple times. And in the National League, which is really where you want to compare it to, Buck, the last guy to win more than 24 was Steve Carlton in 1972. So just kind of put into perspective what 24-8 means for John Smoltz. 1-2 pitch. Now we'll keep an eye on Mondesi. There's some unlikely names on this list too. He's 24. And Ron Bryant, 24 in 1973 for the Giants. I guess we forgot that one, didn't we? Yeah, that's about the only unlikely name, as a matter of fact, as I look over it. Steve Stone at 25 with the Orioles in 1980.
Cy Young winner.
Mondesi's face going, and the Shields sprinkles one into the crowd.
I don't care who you are, what kind of year you had as a hitter. When you're up against John Smoltz, you got your hands full. The Shields just fought that ball off and actually got pretty good wood on it, but it was a line drive out of play into the seats. Mondesi at first base with a big fake. He had a couple of big steps and strides towards second, but then shut it down.
The Shields patient. Count is now 2-2. Greg Gagne on deck. Smoltz trying to put away the Shields here to end inning number 2. The Shields actually battling in there very well.
Yeah, he's having a pretty good at bat right here. He's gotten a couple of fastballs, and he's found the tough pitches off. All you're trying to do in this situation is hit those pitches and hope that Smoltz makes a rare mistake.
The only time Smoltz really has been lit up since August was a game at Colorado where, you know, Cy Young and Walter Johnson would get lit up, I think. It was on the 12th in that series where they looked horrible, the Braves. There goes Mondesi. A little chopper, and Javi Lopez can make the throw. He's safe, and that throw is high. Braves a little lazy in the infield. We've seen it in the first, and now the second. And as a result, the Dodgers have put runners on the corners.
Well, wow. Billy Russell stands in the dugout in admiration, not only of the Shields' hustle, but maybe more of Mondesi's hustle. He was on the move on the pitch. Look at Mondesi at first base. It's a swinging bunt out in front. Javi Lopez kind of nonchalance at thinking, I got this play easily. But he pulls Fred McGriff off the bag, and then McGriff's throw to third is nowhere nearly in time to get the hustling Mondesi. Look at Mondesi size up the situation. round second, and then slides head first into third. The Dodgers are putting the pressure on the Braves here with 2 outs.
So an unlikely rally, and now a curveball that Greg Gagne misses low and away. Ball 1. Now Gags was talking about his old teammate Gary Gaetti with the Twins and what a game he had yesterday. And I said, well, maybe it's your turn today. The Twins live. Be a big spot here to pick up a run from something that kind of an opportunity that's just materialized. We call this a Houdini rally.
Well, you're going to see
rally.
These teams trying to take advantage of the few scoring opportunities they're going to get. With Smoltz and Martinez on the mound, they don't expect to have too many of these chances.
Pitch to Gagne. That'll be out of play. And it's 2-1. Gagne, a member of the Minnesota Twins that won both 87 and in 91. And we understand the Orioles have just taken the lead at home in the 8th inning against the Cleveland bullpen. That is not what it was last year. Make no mistake about that. So again, we'll keep you posted on both games. The defending American League champions in trouble. How will the defending world champions do? Gagne, the pride of Somerset, Massachusetts. Same hometown that the area where Jerry Remy is from. Good infielder spot. Now here are the Dodgers with a good opportunity if Gagne can just kind of bloop one.
You know, you're going to have to keep your eye on these 2 base runners right here. This might be a chance for Bill Russell to try to steal a run with Gagne in the hole against a tough pitcher. 2-2 count with 2 outs.
Chopper foul. Not foul by much. But Terry Taylor was right on the line and made the call.
Boy, Mondesi running from third has a good look at it. You can see it's well inside the foul line there. A bounce outside the line, obviously foul. But that got everybody's attention here in Dodger Stadium.
Sure, especially when 50 feet down, it's a fair ball, and there's plenty of room on the line. Away, it's 3-2, so that means the Shields will be moving from first base.
Here's where the scouting report for Gagne really comes into play for him. He is well aware that Smoltz is going to be away. You got to believe you're going to get a slider with the pitcher on deck. His control not what it usually is.
But he gets him there. Now Smoltz, he had been 3-ball count, the more hitters than usual, but he came back with what he does best, that blaster low and away, and Gagne goes down swinging. Dodgers had a chance, but in the end, all for naught. Beautiful look down at the Chavez Ravine and the surrounding area. And one of the world's most enduring symbols, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle. Where do you think these pictures are coming from? A Polaroid swinger? The 1996 marks the 71st consecutive year that a Goodyear blimp has flown over a major sporting event. So we thank the fellas up in the blimp, and there's just a beautiful, a little hazy this morning, but you know, as days go in Los Angeles, Buck, we can take this. So the Braves start with Jermaine Dye, grounder in the hole to Gagne. He bounces the throw, and Karros again is there to bail him out.
You can see Gagne on both of his throws today. It doesn't have that patented rifle arm. He's always got a real strong arm, but he has been battling shoulder problems for the second time already today. He gets a lot of help from his first baseman, and you can see he didn't have that real good extension and bounces the ball over to Karros, who makes a good play on it. Craig Gagne, for his career, has always had one of the strongest arms on the infield.
That was a tough play by Garrett. The first one was a routine scoop that he made, but this one was a good, sharp play. And Dye is gone, and that'll bring up Jeff Blauser. Yeah, even up to a few weeks ago, wasn't sure that we would see Blauser this postseason, and Bobby Cox wasn't sure what he would be doing with Chipper Jones, who is an all-star third baseman, but had played shortstop after they got Terry Pendleton. Could have also played right field in a different world. And so the decision was made last week. Blauser back to short, Pendleton to the bench, Chipper to third. And they say that Blauser has fielded very well. Jeff's always been a good hitter, a good hitting shortstop. Certainly that '93 season he was. They weren't sure about the fielding. He says, hey, Chris, I've been preparing 2.5 months for this. I'm not ready now. When am I?
Well, he has had some problems in the past with his knee. Chipper Jones moved right back to his natural position at shortstop and really didn't look like he missed a beat. Terry Pendleton, who has picked up mid-season to give them some stability at third base, has been okay at third, but you can see obviously he's lost a step. Now he's going to have to bide his time until Bobby Cox decides to start him, and he said that may come in game 2 here.
Count is full to Blauser, but Pendleton, you know, he's a pro. He understands. He's not going to gripe about it. This really wasn't the plan to have play. It was going to be Pendleton at third and Jones at short. We saw in that series, we had the Braves twice in September at Cincinnati and Colorado, especially in that Colorado series, Buck, which was just 3 weeks ago. Bobby Cox saw it too, that Terry just seemed to be struggling at third base, and Bobby made up his mind. And I guess the way they were playing, and if Blauser can deliver at short, maybe they're a little bit better off defensively right now.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah, Blauser is punched out by Ramon. Strikeout number 3 for Ramon Martinez. Coming up next after our game will be on ESPN, the original. We'll have SportsCenter. Then at 8 Eastern, the Rangers and Yankees game 2. That'll be on Fox tonight. And boy, now the Rangers get to go against the Yankees left-handed pitching. Canhill against Andy Pettit. Midnight. Baseball tonight with Carl Ravitch and Peter Gammons and the gang. And we have reporters at all the series. Bonnie Bernstein is here. We saw Mark Schwartz yesterday. And Harold Reynolds is out and about. And we're all over here for baseball tonight. And here is John Smoltz. Smoltz, you had a home run recently against Jeff Fassero, the Expos.
A 3-run home run to right center. Look at Smoltz for his season. 218. Yep. A homer and 12 ribbies.
The Braves take their Braves pitchers take their hitting very seriously. They have daily contests, home run contests. They enjoyed the one at Coors Field, which we were at. Smoltz had 4, I think. Oh no, he hit 3, but you get 2 if it's opposite field. That's the way they scored. So he had a home run to right center. That got 2, so that counted as 4, and he won the pot, whichever that was. Probably Greenspees the next time they have a day off. They're all good golfers too. 3-2 now to Smoltz. 4th time that Martinez has gone to a 3-ball count. Smoltz with that home run this year gives him 4 for his career. I don't think he's really thinking the long ball against Ramon Martinez. Do you?
Hey, he's always up there to do some damage. That's the way he thinks about everything.
You're right. He did hit one off Fassero, and here's a fly ball to right. Mondesi is there. And that takes care of the Braves. Going to the bottom of the 3rd inning, no score. Martinez and Smoltz on. Back at Dodger Stadium, just a couple of hits. One kind of an excuse me hit by Wayne Kirby of the Dodgers, and a little blooper by Freddie McGriff. So Ramon Martinez will now try his hand at the plate against John Smoltz. And Smoltz in there quickly with 2 strikes. Should mention the umpiring crew today. Steve Ripley, believe it or not, is behind the plate. And he swings and misses and is tagged out. So there's strikeout to number 3 for John Smoltz. Steve Ripley behind the plate. Big Eric Gregg at first base. Tom Hallian at second.
Fielder.
My neighbor in Cheshire, Connecticut, Terry Tate, is at third.
Wayne
Bruce Fremming, the
Kirby.
crew chief, would work game 5 of the other series, is in left. And Bill Hahn is not Bill Horn, it's Bill Hahn is the umpire in right field. Now, this umpiring crew will stay on the West Coast and go to the San Diego-St. Louis series for 3, 4, 5. And the umpiring crew we had yesterday with Harry Wendelstedt, Frank Pulley, and the guys go from St. Louis to Atlanta. So that way they don't have the same crew for the entire series. Cutting down on important travel costs.
That's a big crew to ship across country.
Yeah. So Wayne Kirby, who was aboard on Fred McGriff's kind of mental miscue in the first inning, steps up.
Now he had a swinging bunt down the first baseline, the first at bat, and you see Chipper Jones on the edge of the grass at third, taking away maybe the possibility of a bunt by Kirby.
Missed for 3-0. Kirby kind of returning to the roost here. Was a Dodger farmhand from 83 to 90, but really never did much in the Dodger system. Was a member of the Indians last year. Got to the World Series. Hoping to do that over here. 4 balls to Wayne Kirby. So he's aboard for the second time. By the way, Buck, the Orioles are now leading 7-4 as they move to the top of the 9th in Baltimore. And let me tell you, you and I are slated to do Game 3 of that series. We're going into a hornet's nest with the Indians perhaps down 0-2 and the teeth of the Robbie Alomar umpire situation coming down tomorrow after that 10 a.m. hearing in New York.
I think it's a big surprise that the Indians lose both games. At least it's not over yet, but to go down 0-2 to the Orioles, that's tough. They got Mike Mussina scheduled to go on that Friday night game, so Mussina has not been very good. He missed the opportunity to win his 20th game, and I'm sure he'll be pumped up for that start.
Is that McDowell in that game?
Yeah, Doc McDowell and Mike Mussina on Friday.
0-1 pitch to Todd Hollingsworth, a little off the plate. Ball 1. Already over 50 pitches for Smoltz, Buck.
Now, we talked about his command. He had 55 walks in the regular season, almost 260 innings. Today, he's already walked a couple here. I don't think fatigue is going to be a problem for John Smoltz, even though he's had a long summer. He really loves to pitch in these postseason games. We talked about his 5-1 postseason record. Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach, knows Smoltz has got all winter to rest.
Yeah, but you know how confident Leo is in the way Smoltz is pitching? You take a look at him again. Not really rocking that much yet.
Oh, that's a pretty steady rock.
Yeah, but that's an
everyday
mellow rock, though. I mean, that's kind of like adult-oriented rock. That's not really hard rock, you know?
No, that's not hard rock at all. He's got a hard rock he can go to.
Oh, we'll see that. Well, not he right now. It's Smoltz, he missed, you know, it's 1-2. He wants the strikeout, and he gets the strikeout. Strikeout number 4. Hollingsworth waves at that pitch outside the strike zone. And that'll bring up Mike Piazza, which will probably get Leo rocking a little bit more.
Now, Piazza will maybe push you to a 45 RPM rock.
At least, you know, some heavy bass guitar in this rock, I think, coming up.
Now, Piazza was caught looking at strike 3, an outside fastball. He said he wanted to clear his mind and be aggressive. Let's see if he goes after a first pitch here.
Michael, like most of the Dodgers, struggled last year in that 3-game loss to Cincinnati. Had a home run in the first game, but his batting average was down near the dreaded Mendoza line for those 3 games. Piazza struck out looking in the first. As Kirby aboard with 2 outs. First base. Do you think that Piazza gets a little advantage having caught him for a couple innings in the All-Star game?
I asked him about that and what he felt after catching Smoltz. He said, I recognize that Smoltz's stuff is a lot better than I thought it was. He got first-hand knowledge of it catching him at the All-Star game. He's still got too many things on his mind. He's trying to kind of think along with Smoltz, and he hasn't pulled the trigger on a close pitch yet. He wanted to come into this game and just be aggressive, think outer half and let it go.
Up top, and Kirby was almost caught napping. Lopez gave it a look, did not fire down.
Well, you remember the World Series when Javi Lopez picked off Manny Ramirez at first base.
Well, Kirby remembers it. He was there.
That's why he got that.
3-1 count to Piazza. So maybe Michael can get something he can deal with at the plate. Lopez sets up outside. That's exactly where the pitch went. It's full count. Boy, I know Smoltz has thrown more balls than normal, but that was right into Lopez's target.
As you can see, Piazza steps out and shakes his head. He said, man, I got to swing at one of these. He knows he has the ultimate respect for John Smoltz.
Base hit with Kirby moving into right field. Jermaine Dye comes up with it. So Kirby takes a big turn just in case it gets away. Good job of hitting by Piazza, and the Dodgers have runners at the corners for the second time in 2 innings.
Now, Bobby Cox not overly concerned about a 2-out single to right field by Piazza. He's more concerned about the big flies. But Mike Piazza has to go out and hit a tough pitch from John Smoltz down and away from him. You see, he didn't take a stride. Just tried to stay back and pushes that ball through the right side. Wayne Kirby goes easily first to third, and they have set the table for Eric Karros.
Well, with runners at the corners in the second inning and 2 down, Smoltz struck out Greg Gagne. Yeah, there's a timeout here. McGriff wanted to go over and say something to Smoltz.
Freddie just came over and reminded John Smoltz that he was going to be behind Piazza. So he didn't want Smoltz to go over and make a throw to first.
Karros will put this one out of play. Chipper will give it a look, but it's way back in the seats.
Eric Karros had a good pitch to hit, a high slider. He is thinking swing. That breaking ball stays on the inner half, and he got out in front underneath it. Boy, had a good hack at that pitch. Those are the ones you want back. Smoltz generally won't give you too many of those.
Smoltz induces Karros to a pair of foul balls, and the count is 0-2.
Can you imagine how confident Bobby Cox is with the starters that he has on his staff?
Lopez setting out low and away again. Actually, that pitch was up top. Karros offers at it. Lopez and McGriff right by the Brave dugout. Freddie makes a nice catch, and the inning is over. So again, runners in the corners, and the Dodgers don't deliver. All right, John, thank you very much. And boy, a surprising result to some in Baltimore, as the defending American League champs are down 0-2 in the best of 5. No surprise here at Chavez Ravine that in a battle between John Smoltz and Ramon Martinez, there's no score through 3 innings. Buck Martinez, both pitchers, even though Smoltz has thrown more balls than often, it's going to be tough to score on both of these guys.
Well, we have seen it all year long, and both teams know that these 2 starters can be very tough.
Well, to get you caught up, for those of you that have watched the Indians-Orioles game, this is the FedEx Braves lineup. Marquise Grissom, Mark Lemke, Chipper Jones, Fred McGriff at a base hit to right in the second inning. Ryan Klesko in left. Javi Lopez, the catcher. Jermaine Live and Let Die, the right fielder. Jeff Blauser, the shortstop. John Smoltz is the pitcher. That's what you've seen. They have amassed 1 hit, just McGriff's, through 3 innings against Ramon Martinez. Ramon Martinez for the Dodgers, who was bombed in its only postseason performance in Game 1 last year in this spot against the Cincinnati Reds. Brings a little more stuff this time to the mound, Buck. 3 strikeouts in 3 innings of work for Ramon, and just the 1 hit given up.
Well, you see his line so far through this ball game. Just a single hit allowed by Martinez, and he has really been on a hot streak. In his last 10 starts, he is 7-0. Martinez making his first start of the season against the Braves. He had just 1 relief appearance in an 18-inning ball game. He worked the last 4 innings of that game and was tagged with the loss.
And for those that are just joining us as well, let's reset the defense, Buck.
Well, you can look in the outfield and see there are some significant changes. No Brett Butler, of course. He had the battle with cancer. He was back, then broke his hand. It's Wayne Kirby in center, and he's flanked by Todd Hollinsworth, the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year in the National League. Raul Mondesi and his 11 assists in right field. On the infield, it's Tim Wallach, Greg Gagne, Delino DeShields, and Eric Karros, and Mike Piazza is behind the plate.
Beautiful day. Temperatures in the upper 70s. Looks like the last couple of sections in the upper deck down the left and right field lines are available. So if you're watching at home, and we know around in the LA area, hey, you can get a seat. Come on out. Although we hope if you're in Nielsen home, you'll stay right where you are. Glad you could join us as this is finally the fourth and final series to get underway. It's kind of odd that the Indians are down already 0-2 in the team they played in the World Series. The Braves are just in the fourth inning of game one, but that's where we are. Top of the order for the Braves, Marquise Grissom. A fine season for Grissom, a 200-hit season, and you know, he really got going last year, Buck, at just this time. He did not have a great regular season for the Braves a year ago, but turned it on in October. So for the last exact 12 months, from October 1 last year to October 1 now, he has been every bit the player the Braves had hoped they would get when they got him from the Expos.
And back-to-back breaking balls misses as he got ahead of Grissom. Martinez has been predominantly fastball, sinking fastball today. He has not used many breaking balls or changeups to this point.
There's a rip up the middle for Grissom despite a nice dive by his ex-teammate in Montreal, Delino DeShields. Grissom, who had 207 hits during the regular season, that's third in the National League, now has his first of this postseason.
Ramon Martinez went with 3 consecutive breaking balls, and Marquise Grissom got to the third one and drove it up the middle for a base hit.
Of course, the Braves are not really a running team, but Marquise can go. He led them in stolen bases with 28. And Lemke is certainly a guy in the number 2 hole who can handle the bat, be it hit and run or just to steal or bunt. And with runs at a premium, he could do any one of those things. And we should point this out, Buck, that as good as the Braves have been, first of all, that the Dodgers beat him 7-12 this year, but I don't know where you take that stat and go with it. But here's one that Bobby Cox knows. 11 games played by the Braves in Dodger Stadium the last 2 years. They average under 3 runs a game. So you play for this 1 run here and 1 run there, maybe a lot more against this staff and in this park.
Well, this is a situation with Smoltz on the mound where you try to get a run early, and now with good speed at first and a guy that can handle a bat, maybe you start the runner here.
Lemke did not offer a bunt that time, takes it for a ball.
Bobby Cox refers to Mark Lemke as his smartest player on the field. And like an extra coach out there, particularly on defense. But in these situations, he can look at that hole on the right side with Grissom at first, look for a pitch that he can pull, and pull one through the hole and go first to third.
Well, it's interesting on the first pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Wallach was in on the grass. Now look at Jimmy Williams give the signs here. Now, he may be changing things because on the second pitch, Wallach was back even with the bat.
Now they're just trying to guess with this situation now because Lemke can do so many things. Now you see Wallach just a step behind the bag at third.
So there's room to lay one down is what we're saying. Lemke again doesn't offer the bunt, lays off. It's 2-1. Marquise, and there's this round of signs.
Jimmy Williams quickly going through the signs. In my mind, this is a good time to run. Now Coxie is saying, wait a minute. He's talking to the umpire about making Ramon Martinez stop, I believe. This is a good hit-run count. 2-1.
You know that Bobby's a cool customer at times. You know why? He's the only one in L.A. this afternoon with a jacket on.
This morning about 9 o'clock, he was sitting down in the bullpen trying to get a little peace and quiet.
Yeah, we found him. There goes Grissom. Piazza has a good pitch to work with, but Grissom steals the base. Throw was a little bit high and outside. He had a good pitch to work with, but Grissom steals the base.
Now Marquise Grissom got a good jump that time, and Bobby Cox was playing hit and run, I think. But look at a jump at first base. Grissom has always had a tough time against Martinez. The throw is to the shortstop side of the bag, and it's high. The liner to Shields has to go up high and then reach all the way down and put the tag on Grissom, and it's too late.
Lemke does his job. Taps it to the right side to DeShields, over to Karros, and now there's one out. There's the experience and the ability of a Mark Lemke. It's a simple bounce out to the right side, puts a runner at third with one down.
But you can see how his teammates appreciate the effort of Mark Lemke. Grissom steals the bag at second, and then Lemke just hooks an outside pitch on the right side, gets him over, and Bobby Cox is telling Chipper Jones, hey, whatever it takes, get him in, get Smoltz a run.
A lot of people don't know that maybe the most underpublicized guy in the Braves, you saw the big fellow there in the shot right over to Lemke. That's the hitting coach, Clarence Jones. Infield is in on the grass to pinch off what, any run is going to be critical in this game. No score, top of the fourth. Chipper struck out in the first inning. There's a look, but they pinch in as soon as Ramon goes to the stretch. Side corner, 1-1.
Obviously, Billy Russell is well aware of how difficult it will be to score runs here today. And they're trying to get a ground ball right at somebody drawn in on this infield.
Outside, 2-1.
Chipper Jones chased a couple of high fastballs in his first at bat, and you can see all year long he has been very good in situations like this. Runner at third, less than 2 outs.
Tried to bust him inside, but that was too much inside and high. 3-1 with Fred McGriff on deck. The imposing figure of the crime dog. Jones works a walk. So now Fred McGriff comes up with runners on the corners. McGriff with a base hit to right, his first time up to lead off the second inning.
Well, what you do now after the walk, it's first and third. You enable your infield to back up and look for a double play ball. Martinez gave up a single to McGriff, as Chris mentioned, but Fred for the season hit into 20 double plays. That's what the Dodgers are looking for right now.
Buck, both pitchers, we have a shutout here in the fourth inning as expected, but each has gone to 3-ball count 6 times on 12 hitters. So they're not quite as sharp as they have been in other games. Although the goose eggs on the scoreboard would say, well, maybe they are. Outside to McGriff.
We talked about the heart of this lineup having their hands full with Ramon Martinez, and there's some numbers that back it up.
Off speed. That one stayed outside. 2-0.
Now Piazza going to go out and talk to Ramon Martinez. That time Ramon didn't really finish off that changeup. His front side flew open and his arm kind of dragged, and the ball stayed up and out of the strike zone. Good time to go out there and try to get Ramon to collect his thoughts, and Piazza, very aware of the situation, said, you know what, I got to talk to him. Take a look at this. His front side flies open. The ball kind of slails out of his hands up and out of the strike zone. These are not the kind of counts that you want to put yourself into against Fred McGriff.
McGriff drives it to left field. Hollingsworth is going back. He's got room, but Grissom will tag and score easily. The play is at second, but Jones advances. 1-0 Braves. So the Braves get a single, a stolen base, a ground ball to the right side to move the runner to third, and a sac fly. It's as basic as it gets, and they lead 1-0.
Well, Ramon Martinez caused himself some problems when he fell behind Fred McGriff 2-0. He had to throw a strike and threw a sinking fastball to the outside part of the plate. McGriff got enough of it to drive it deep into left field. Good job by Mark Lemke, and that's the way the Braves have played it all year long.
Inside to Ryan Klesko, ball 1. Well, you're seeing right now with Jones at second and Klesko at the plate, the change of the Atlanta Braves as we have known them, and we saw it certainly in the postseason last season. When Chipper Jones became a high-quality player, not that Klesko wasn't, but this year Klesko told everyone, hey, I'm in that category too, and Javi Lopez ended the season on a very strong note batting. This is becoming, except for the pitching staff, these are the future of the Braves. The guy at second, the guy at the plate, the guy behind him.
Oh, that was a tough pitch there. Klesko felt like Martinez missed with the 2-0 pitch. Watch this fastball. Down and away, a lot of movement, but Martinez got the call.
Foul back and out of play. 2-2.
Now, you talked about the heart of the young players being Klesko and Jones and Javi Lopez, but the Braves continue. Now they've got Jermaine Dye in right field, and along with Andrew Jones, who is a 2-time minor league player of the year. They just keep producing these great everyday players.
No, it's not as if John Sherholtz and Stan Kampson have been asleep at the wheel. Now the count is 3-2.
Got a base open now with Javi Lopez on deck.
Breaking ball up high, and the second walk of the inning. And the Braves now runners at first and second. Again, a reminder, coming up after this game, we'll have Sports Center, where we'll have full reports on the first couple of games and everything else. Also, Sports Center at 11 tonight. The night game at Yankee Stadium between the Rangers and the Yankees. Kenny Hill and Andy Pettit, that'll be on Fox. Baseball tonight with Ravi and Peter and the gang at midnight. Baseball tonight, early, late, all this week. So anything you need to know, that's where to find it out in Major League Baseball. Just 2 games tomorrow and 2 games Friday. We'll be on the air with games at 4 tomorrow and 4 on Friday. Swinging at the first pitch is Javi Lopez. Does Piazza have room? Yes. Big out right there, but the Braves do at least puncture the goose egg as we head to the bottom of inning number 4 here at Dodger Stadium. The Braves have drawn first blood. They lead it 1-0.
Big Baseball Studios, the development of Roberto Alomar's suspension story. The Players Union has talked with Alomar's agent about possibly withdrawing his appeal of the suspension. Now, what that would mean, that there would be no need for a hearing as scheduled on Thursday in Baltimore with the umpires and the Players Union, and that, as baseball precedent has set, that Alomar's suspension would start next season instead of during this postseason. What it also means is if that happens, they'll probably be in federal court on Friday, where Major League Baseball is seeking an injunction to prevent the umpires from boycotting the postseason, which would violate their contract. Developments as they proceed. Right now, we get back to Dodger Stadium with Chris Berman. Chris?
All right, Gary, thank you. That was Raul Mondesi grounding out to begin the 4th inning. Well, not trying to figure out the way the umpires will feel about this, but we, again, as we talked to Harry Wendelstedt yesterday, had a talk for a while with Bruce Fremming, the crew chief here, who's been in close contact with the situation. Bruce working the left field line as Tim Wallach comes up, and I mean, that's all well and good. And I don't know what the deal is, and I guess the contract says that these suspensions begin next season. But just guessing, this is not on any inside information, not as if Bruce said, if this, then this. Let me not misread what I'm going to say, but I don't think that the umpires will be, that this moves them off any position about working the rest of these series.
No, I think you're right. I think that's what the umpires are complaining about, that the sentence will be prolonged until next year. I think they want something resolved immediately and felt like he should be suspended effective right away. So I think you're right. I think there's going to be more to this story before it's all resolved.
Now that there's no hearing, there will be an interesting conference call tonight with the umpires after those working the Texas Yankees game get done. I can tell you that. And I don't know
Coach Steve Palermo made a quote. He said, if a guy robbed a bank before Christmas, you wouldn't wait till after the holidays to put him away. That's kind of what they
that's the way they feel, and I understand exactly the way they feel about it. A very tough situation all the way around. Now it's 3-2 to Wallach. So stay tuned on this one. I will tell you this. You and I are doing game 3 at Baltimore. I mean, at Cleveland.
There'll be lots to talk about.
Well, 0-2 Indians and Robbie Alomar on the Orioles. Yeah, we'll have, yeah, there'll be some things going on in that yard. And, you know, we could talk about this thing forever and ever, and unfortunately, no one's going to be satisfied, and understandably so. Dev would stay tuned to this situation tomorrow. That's not going to be enough, the umpire. Wallach to right field. Jermaine Dye keeps drifting. Well, that thing got halfway back in the track. But there's 2 outs. And those that are joining us after the Baltimore-Cleveland game, here's our FedEx Dodger lineup. Wayne Kirby is singled and walked at the top of the order, but Hollinsworth 0-2 in the 2 spot. Diaz is singled there in the 3rd inning, 1-2. Karros, the cleanup hitter. Mondesi now 0-2, as is Tim Wallach. Delino to Shields coming up now. Greg Gagne with a spoon as your shortstop, hitting 8th, and Ramon Martinez is 9th as we play the bottom of the 4th in a 1-0 Braves lead. Chopper at a Lemke backhand fires high, but they got the right guy standing there to deal with it, and Fred McGriff. And a 1-2-3 inning for John Smoltz, pitching with the lead. We played 4. It's 1-0 Atlanta. Back in the top of the 5th inning, and again our thanks, these aerial pictures, thanks to our friends at the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California. Johnny's hometown, isn't it? Today's pilot is Nick Nicolari from Hartford, Connecticut. Hello, Nick. I'll see you at Bradley's sometime.
He's a Whalers fan, too.
Yeah, I hope he has Whalers season tickets. Cameraman is Glenn Hampton from Akron, Ohio. So thanks to those gentlemen and the others that are adding to our telecast today. Day 2 of postseason baseball on ESPN, as Jermaine Dye leads off at a 1-0 lead in the 5th. And again, if you weren't with us yesterday or earlier today, we are thrilled to have the opportunity to bring to you, and certainly to bring to the kids, young kids, a chance to watch some important games in October during the afternoon. And you can talk about it on the school bus tomorrow morning, and you didn't stay up late, still had a chance to do the homework, and that's what we can add as baseball fans to this postseason merriment and help. I don't know, is that program or homework? Probably program.
Program.
Sorry.
Yeah. Homework later.
And if we can add to that enjoyment as a family and watching these games, then we have more than done our job. And Dye will go down with 1 out in the 5th. Tomorrow's lineup, just 1 game on ESPN. Game 2 from St. Louis of the Pods Cards. And then Fox will have the Braves-Dodgers game from here tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. Scott Sanders and Andy Merchant of Venice going in game number 2. And certainly was a good game number 1 there yesterday, Buck. Doesn't get much better than Dennis Eckersley against Tony Gwynn to settle a playoff game, does it? Eck said it himself. He realized on the mound, boy, this is as good as it gets.
Great matchup with the best hitter in the National League against a very good closer for a long time. And you can see, final out of the game, Eckersley spears the ball, pumps it up in the air, holds it up, and said, yeah, we locked up this first one. And I don't care how many saves he has in the postseason, he still gets pumped up. That was his 12th postseason save in game 1 of that series.
Ramon Martinez wants to get pumped up and keep his team right in this thing. Just allowed 2 hits. Although both he and Smoltz going into the inning had thrown 71 pitches.
You know, I don't think at this point in the season you concern yourself at all with pitches. You just watch the stuff. If the stuff is still there, you send them back out. Pitch count is out the door.
Well, neither manager, Bobby Cox, nor Bill Russell, has definitely decided would these guys come back for game 4 on Sunday in Atlanta if necessary, or would they go and wait until game 5 on Monday in Atlanta if necessary? I mean, both are going to wait and see the way the series goes, obviously.
There's no reason to map out your plan at this point.
So here's this series. Tomorrow, which will be a late afternoon shadow start here. That'll be on Fox. Saturday's game will be late afternoon in Atlanta on Fox. We'll have, and it could be you and I, Buck, Sunday on ESPN at 1 o'clock, game 4. And then you see the Monday. Basically, the games will be on, but bring your clicker.
They will be on somewhere, and it looks to be a good postseason.
Yeah, it would be maybe you and I back there on.
Hey, I'll just follow you. You know, just tell me where the plane is, and we'll go.
You think I know everything?
You told me you did.
Sergeant Smoltz, I know nothing. 3-2 pitch to Jeff Blauser, ripped, snared by Wallach.
Now, Tim Wallach makes a fine play. This was headed down into the left field corner. Blauser hits it on the line. You see, Wallach times his jump perfectly and gets the snow cone grab at third. They went out and picked up the veteran after they lost Mike Blowers for the season in knee surgery. And Wallach has done a good job. He hasn't hit as much as he would have liked, but he gives them another veteran in that lineup.
Well, he had everything there on that cone except the sprinkles, I think. So with 2 outs, John Smoltz, who flew out to right field his first time up. You know, we spoke about that home run that he hit off the Serum, and that was in the division clinching game against the Expos. Pitchers all can handle the bat. Maddox is pretty good. Glavine is a very good hitter. Nagel's not bad. John's got that postseason beard going. Starts it late in the regular season. You know, he plans on it late October. I mean, he doesn't want it to peak now. That's not the plan. Didn't grow it for October 2nd. He grows it more for October 20th in that range. Full count now on Smoltz. Chopper to Gagne. He's had trouble with 2 throws. None with this. And the Braves are on 1-2-3 in the top of the 5th. A good old-fashioned pitcher's duel here at Dodger Stadium. 1-0 Atlanta. Back in the bottom of the 5th inning, John Smoltz working on a 1-0 shutout against Ramon Martinez. Faces 8-9-1 for the Dodgers. Greg Gagne, Ramon, and Wayne Kirby. Gagne came up with runners at first and third in the 2nd inning and was struck out by Smoltz, one of John's 3 strikeouts. Of course, his 276 led the majors this year. First guy. Fly ball to center field. Grissom on his horse way back, and it's a 1-hopper off the wall. Gagne into second base with a double for the first extra base hit of the afternoon.
Well, that ball really took off and got over Marquise Grissom's head in center field. Gagne has some pop up the alleys, and he gets a fastball up and away from him, and he drives it toward right center. That pitch actually was down pretty good, but he hits it on a line over Grissom's head. One skip off the warning track, off the wall. By the time he gets it in, Gagne's at second base, a leadoff double, and now the Dodgers are trying to advance Gagne.
Got the old wheel working here, Buck.
He's going to turn and square around. He bunts through it.
Oh, boy. Oh, that was a close play at second base. Lopez snapped the throw to Blauser, and Gagne was just back. And look at Billy Russell.
Boy, that was a close play. Watch the throw here, and then look where the umpire is. Tom Hallion is right there on top of the play. And you can see the reaction on the bench. Boom, they think they got a shot at doubling. I'll get him in a second. Everybody felt it was close. Bobby Cox jumped to the top step of the dugout.
Leo really rocked on that one, too. And that pitch is in there for a strike. 0-2.
Tough on a base runner when that batter bunts through a ball because you expect it to be put into play, and you take that extra step, and it can cost you.
Now here's the difference. The Braves, with a runner at second, had a Lemke at the plate and moved him over with a ground ball. Here's a pop bunt that Lopez gets. So the difference is the Braves did the fundamentals, and the Dodgers thus far have not, in the exact same situation.
Well, Bill Russell frustrated by the bunt attempt by Ramon Martinez. That's an important play. Martinez had 8 sacrifice bunts this season, but couldn't get the bunt down in a pivotal point of the game. Leadoff double at second. Matt Butler is a guy that understands the value of the bunt.
Wayne Kirby has singled and walked. Breaking ball over for a strike. Again, Kirby just came over late June off waivers from the Tribe. What a important contribution he could make with a little flunker. Shot to McGriff. Fred will handle it himself. The runner eventually goes over Gagne, but this time it's with 2 outs.
Boy, you get a leadoff double, and you hope to advance, and then hit with the runner at third in less than 2 outs, but on the ground ball to the first baseman. Now all Gagne can do is move to third with 2 down. So Billy Russell needs a big 2-out base hit here.
Crowd up, hoping that their 23-year-old left-handed hitter Todd Hollandsworth can deliver. And he feel he'll be the 16th Rookie of the Year in Dodger history. No other team has had more than 8. But they got, what, 5 Rookies of the Year in the National League on this roster? Oh, a pull cue shot inside the line. Gagne scores. Hollandsworth to second. With the second double of the inning, we're tied at 1. Wow, I didn't think they could yell this loud here in Los Angeles. They're juiced.
Right off the end of the bat, Chipper Jones well off the line, and it's just inside the third base bag down the left field line. Todd Hollandsworth, a huge 2-out base hit. Eric Karras is thankful that somebody came through with a big hit, and it's the rookie Todd Hollandsworth.
Mike Piazza looks at ball 1 outside and up. Piazza struck out looking and singled in the third.
Boy, he has made some good pitches on Piazza on that outside corner, hasn't he? He has painted that corner on Piazza all day long. Mike was able to get to a 3-2 fastball last time, but look at this pitch. Right on the corner.
Another
and
good
after
pitch.
that one, and it was right there again. Down, right on the corner, at the knees. Smoltz has made his toughest pitches of the afternoon against Piazza, and rightly so. He's the one guy in this lineup that you really want to make sure you finish off. 1 and 2, and this is where Smoltz comes with that lane changer slider that Piazza refers to. It comes up to home plate and then just changes lanes down and away. Look, they're coming in. Boy, they crossed him up and got a strikeout.
Busted him inside. Piazza struck out to end an inning for the second time this game. But the Dodgers have broken through against John Smoltz. We told you runs would be at a premium. The crowd knows it. 1-1 through 5. Back in Los Angeles, 1-1. Smoltz and Martinez. A game which is exactly the way we thought it would go. Little things done first by the Braves and then by the Dodgers. Two-out base hit by Hollingsworth, who got the standing O from the fans in the left field seats when he went out there. Marquis Grissom, a two-hopper to Tim Wallach. Wallach across the diamond to Karros, and there is one out in the Atlanta sixth.
Well, the Dodgers come into this series losing 4 straight ball games, and they said, you know what, we were just kind of emotionally worn out. They had a 4-game series against the Padres in San Diego, and then a 3-game series to finish up the season here, and then a couple of off days, and they feel like they're a little bit recharged here to start this postseason.
The Dodgers are looking for a silver lining as Mark Officer Lemke steps up and looks at a pitch inside for a ball. The Dodgers, of course, beat the Braves 7 out of 12 times, but they played 4 one-run games this year, and the Dodgers have won all of them. By the way, historically, just in case you didn't know, the Dodgers and Braves have played a postseason before. You figure, how could that happen? Well, they finished tied in the National League in 1959. Lefty chops wide. Braves had won the series in 57, the Milwaukee Braves, and lost the series in 58, but they were the 2-time defending National League champs. They tied with the Dodgers in a 2-game tiebreaker. LA won 2-0. September 28, 1959, Larry Sherry won in relief game 1 and game 2. The Dodgers got 3 in the 9th off Lou Burdett to tie it at 5 and win in the extra innings, so they went on to the World Series. They beat the Go-Go White Sox, but that was in the playoff with the Braves. Just what you wanted to know. Gagne calls off Hollingsworth and left and makes the play, and there's 2 down. That game, by the way, against the Braves was not played here. Remember, Dodger Stadium, built in 1962, that was played at the Coliseum with those short porches and deep center field. But you believe that this ballpark is the 3rd oldest in the National League?
Well, there's been a lot of turnover in stadiums.
Yeah, but my point is that a lot of parks built after this one that weren't close. 1962, only Wrigley and Candlestick are older in the National League. Which is now, of course, 3 Com Park at Candlestick Point. I told them I would say it when I could. Except for 0-2. Ramon has come back strong here now that he's seen his teammates tie it up for him, Buck.
Fastball down and away. Ramon came out of his delivery a little bit in the 4th inning. Had a couple of walks and gave up a sac fly to Fred McGriff. But since then, Mike Piazza's gotten right back into those good deliveries, and he's making some good pitches. Upstairs again for the strikeout.
So a 1-2-3 inning for Ramon Martinez, who now 1, 2, 3 times has ended the inning. An inning with a strikeout. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 1-1. Bottom of the 6th at Dodger Stadium. A sun-soaked afternoon here at Chavez Ravine, and defense has helped out Ramon.
Eric Karros in the 1st inning took a hot shot off the bat of Mark Lemke, a good defensive play. And then it was Karros again taking the low throw from Gagne, trapping that ball for the out. And then in the 5th inning, the veteran Tim Wallach goes high and smashes a line drive.
Speaking of high and not quite a line drive, that was Eric Karros swinging at the first pitch, and Jermaine Dye was there.
Right fielder.
And there's 1 out in the 6th inning.
Raul on to sing.
So you try and show some good defense, especially by Karros, and he has to swing at the first pitch. You know, could we tell him we're trying to give him some pub?
Yeah, we should have cued him.
He's annoyed. He wanted to see that clip of him playing defense. Mondesi, a fielder's choice in a grounded to short. In on the grass at 3rd is Chipper Jones. 1 run on 2 hits for the Braves, 1 run on 4 hits for the Dodgers.
Well, Smoltz is staying down away, and he's still got that outside corner zeroed in. The only really key pitch he made inside came last inning. An inside fastball to Mike Piazza for the strikeout at the end of the inning. 5 strikeouts on 86 pitches through 5 1/3.
Again, want to reiterate something about Smoltz's durability. And of course, at 253 2/3 innings, it speaks for itself. that in 23 of his 35 starts, he's gone at least 7, and in 18 of his 35, at least 8. You're right. Pitch count is just a number in this game.
Wants a new ball. That one didn't feel right as he had another fastball sail outside. Yeah, it's 1-1, and the rock has gotten a little more intense.
Arc gets a little bigger there. It's, you know, the early innings just kind of a slow, swing low, sweet chariot sort of deal for Rock and Leo Mazzoni. What a good guy to talk to he is. We were together in Colorado for a luncheon given by the Rockies, and he was good enough to address some of the Rocky season ticket holders. I was there as well. And, he has some good stories.
Leo and
got some good pitchers.
Leo and I were in the Army together in 1970.
You were?
Fort Gordon, Georgia. We played ball against one another in the Army.
Pulled the string on that one, and Mondesi waved at it. Strikeout number 6 for Smoltz.
Third baseman.
Like a high breaking ball, and Smoltz kind of shaking his head. You see that spinning breaking ball was up around the letters. That's generally a type of pitch that can get hammered. You can see the spin on it. Good example of that spin that hitters look for. But that ball was up a little bit too much. It was kind of a high hanger that Mondesi swung right through.
Jim Wallach fouls the first pitch out of play. He's flown to right field twice, which means he has good power, but has not gotten around on Smoltz. The wind now has picked up a little bit. Not a big factor, but it's right to left. Oh, it may help this one. Not enough. I got excited like the crowd because that was exactly I was looking at the flag, but Wallach got under it just a little bit, and Klesko was there. We played 6 of a 1-1 game.
Game 2 of the Indians-Orioles series in a key moment. Bottom of the 8th of a 4-all game. Bases loaded. Paul Osemacher has just come in to pitch to B.J. Surhoff. Gets the ground ball. Should have been a double play. Surhoff inside the line at first. No call. Ball got away from Kent. The Orioles go on to win it 7-4. They have a 2-0 lead. Chris?
All right, Gary, thank you. Certainly a surprise brewing in that series with the defending AL champs on the ropes. No surprise with this one here. Time for the 7th, the pitcher's duel. Braves just with 2 hits off Ramon Martinez. The Dodgers with 4 off John Smoltz. Sac fly by McGriff in the 4th. Double by Hollingsworth in the 5th.
Now that's where they want to pitch Fred McGriff up on his hands, and he swung through it. Remember, at the start of the show, we talked about the Braves wanting to be patient and not chase that high fastball. They haven't been able to lay off. The only run they produced came on a low fastball to Fred McGriff that he lifted to left field for a sacrifice fly. Came back in the 4th inning. Changeup right off the end of the bat. I'll tell you one thing, Piazza hasn't really called too many breaking balls or changeups today. It's simply been a combination of 4-seam fastballs and 2-seam sinking fastballs.
1-2 pitch to McGriff is outside. Freddie lays off 2-2. Valdez and Maddox in game 2 here. Glavine and Nomo in game 3 in Atlanta Saturday. That much we know.
Another changeup. Ramon Martinez has one of the better changeups in the National League, but when he's got the kind of movement on his fastball that he's had here today, you don't really have to use it an awful lot. But now in this 1-1 ball game in the 7th inning, it becomes another weapon that they can call upon.
Again, a 3-ball count. 11 times Martinez has done that. However, he's only lost 2 of the guys on walks. This one may stay in there. Plenty of room for Wallach in foul ground, and McGriff is retired. 1 out in the Atlanta 7th.
Fred McGriff looked at that little lazy pop-up, and his son has been a concern here today, but it really hasn't become a factor.
It'll be more so tomorrow when they start, game Tomorrow will be at 5 o'clock. That'll be more interesting. The famous shadows lurking. Here, they may not get out to the plate unless we go 18 innings.
They've done that before.
Yes, they have. And Ramon pitched in relief that time against the Braves, 40s. Ryan Klesko swings and misses at that fastball.
Well, we talked about it earlier. The reason that these Braves are swinging at that high fastball, it looks so good, but Ramon Martinez has a little bit of an extra skip on that ball when it's upstairs.
Again, a long run for Wallach, and Gagne. Oh, Wallach can't quite hold it on the second bounce. Juggle it, had a second chance for it. That's a long run, and looking backwards into the sun a little bit. And gets a good round of applause. That's tough play.
Not only did he have a long run, but he got to it, and he's got to look over his shoulder. He knows he's got a lot of room. He just checked out the fence and watched the ball hitting his glove. And it looks like it's going to nestle in there, and then just trickles out the heel of his glove. He's got a second chance at it, but it falls to the third.
Well, there are the shadows. Those weren't the ones we were talking about coming into play yet, although maybe they didn't happen. Ooh, Martinez wanted that one. It was low and away, 2-2 to Klesko. Ryan 0 for 1 with a walk.
Here's a count where they can throw that changeup. They've used it a couple of times in this inning to McGriff, and Klesko is very aggressive. 2-2 changeup might be a good pitch here. Oh, they went upstairs with the heater.
Misses outside. Klesko very patient and draws a walk for the second time this afternoon.
Catcher.
Now you see his pitch count, 113 at this point. Just the third walk he's issued. He's got 5 strikeouts. Look at the hits. Just 2 hits. Both of these pitchers have cocked their A game for the postseason.
Yes. They're both nibbling a little bit of beach ball that's come on the field in center field, so that's the brief stop. That's Dave Wallace, pitching coach from Waterbury, Connecticut. Done a good job here. Years and years and years. Of course, it was Ron Karanowski, and Wallace stepped into a tough spot and rocks less than Leo, but just as focused. Make no mistake about that. Javi Lopez 0 for 2, and there goes Klesko. I think everybody was surprised. Ryan Klesko with a stolen base, and that doesn't happen very often.
Klesko had 6 steals during the regular season in 9 attempts. And you're right, Chris. I think he just caught everybody flat-footed. Not a very good lead at all. But look at Piazza. He got a tough pitch to handle and then throws it into the grass well short of second. The ball skips, and by the time Delino DeShields puts the tag on Klesko, he's safe. Boy, you talk about the element of surprise. Yep. You don't expect Klesko to be a base stealer.
Great job by the Braves. They're his 7th of the year, only his 13th lifetime. You know, we're not exactly talking Maury Wills out there, but a very big potential play by Klesko. Lopez finished the season very hot, although he's 0 for 2 today against Martinez. Finished 10 for 23 at a .435 clip, so he has come into the playoffs swinging a hot bat. That helped his average to creep up to 282 for the season. Nice pitch on the inside corner. That crossed Lopez up.
Yeah, he was thinking outer half, and that sinking fastball was still effective for Ramon Martinez. Lopez has tremendous power the opposite way. Piazza was sliding to the outside, getting set up for an outside pitch.
Went to the electric slide on that one. Lopez got down to the box. Wallet. Carroll. 2 out. Flesko stays at second base. So that'll bring up the youngster, Jermaine Dye, and that's the view from the upper deck. And, of course, the Peanuts and the Dodger Dogs is the part of the afternoon here in Dodger Stadium. Really not a bad seat here. Love coming here to do ball games and watch games. There's the big youngster, Jermaine Dye. Fouls it back just below us, strike one. Dye is 22 years of age from Oakland, California.
He is one of the young right fielders that has taken over after they lost David Justice. Justice dislocated his shoulder and had surgery, and he is out for the season. So they've had to call upon a couple of young right fielders, Jermaine Dye being one of them.
Ramon ahead of him 0-2. I think with Justice is that you pointed out at the beginning. Chipper Jones, one of the youngsters who, of course, has established himself, but they don't have a lot of ways to go. Pop off the bench as far as long ball potential or in the lineup. That's the big difference we're seeing in the Braves now vis-a-vis last year and other years. Even though they had a lot of home runs, they were second in the league in home runs. Oh, painted the outside corner and froze Dye. Strikeout number 7 for Ramon Martinez. We head to 7. Back here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and 7th inning stretch time. They take me out to the ball game. Fans hoping that the Dodgers can squeeze home a run against John Smoltz. As the bottom of their order, 7, 8, 9, DeShields, Gagne, and Martinez due up. Antonio Osuna is up and throwing in the pen because Martinez, given the situation, might be pinch hit for. Certainly not because he hasn't done it on the mound. Buck. Chris Berman and Buck Martinez with you late in the afternoon in the East. Mid-afternoon here in Los Angeles, and we have seen everything we thought we would come to see.
We'll have a pitcher's duel, and Ramon Martinez in this 1-1 ball game will be the 3rd hitter scheduled up for the Dodgers. So that's why Osuna is up down in the bullpen. Antonio Osuna, hard-throwing right-hander.
You knew that, I'm sorry about this too, that sooner or later he would get up throwing for Bill Russell.
You're not sorry about that.
No, not really.
You've been waiting for that one.
No, not really. That's not a great one. That's kind of a B-. It's just there. You know who appreciates this pitcher's duel and who threw out the first pitch today was in a nice moment. Ann Myers, the wife of the late Don Drysdale. And certainly the Twin D was involved in games just like this many times. And there's Ann. Yeah, that's great. Good lady. Full count to DeShields. We'll do it again. Chopper to lefty over there in a hurry. McGriff, 1 out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority. The Office of the Commissioner of Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without express written consent. So stop those plans to retransmit this thing, Buck, will you? I heard you working late at night. You know, we can shoot it up to the satellite here and send it over here. It's verboten. Craig Gagne, who doubled and scored in the 5th inning on Hollinsworth's double. 1 for 2. Oh, the heat is still working for John Smoltz. He, like Ramon, went to 6 Ks. 1-1 to Gagne. Martinez is out in the on-deck circle, but we shall see depending on the situation. If he'll hit. Breaking ball. Gagne pops it behind first. McGriff back, lefty back. Freddie takes it right on the foul line, and there's 2 down. And now with nothing doing, I would imagine that Ramon will hit.
Well, Billy Ashley's got his bat in his hand, and he has 5 pinch hit home runs this season. But with 2 outs, they're going to send up Ramon Martinez and allow him to continue in this ball game. Billy Russell wanted to see somebody on ahead of this spot in the lineup, maybe to give Billy Ashley a shot. He had a pinch hit home run here against the Giants, against Jim Poole, to win a ball game. How about Ramon saying, maybe I'll hit a double?
Well, that's kind of a reminder to Smoltz. Okay. He struck out and popped to the catcher. Gets his bat on the ball again, but he's down 0-2. And a good grab made in the front row of the second deck. Fan brought a glove, and there's the reason you bring a glove to the game. Would not want to have tried to snare that one barehanded. See, you're never too old to bring the glove to the game. Up top and outside, 1-2. Looking ahead to the Braves 8th. It's the bottom of their order. 8-9-1. Blauser, Smoltz, and Grissom.
Boy, Chipper Jones is hugging that third base line after seeing a couple of those first 2 hacks from Ramon Martinez. A pretty good idea that Ramon wasn't going to get around on him. He is camped about 5 feet off that foul line.
Chipper just said, hey, you know, just when I got used to not being a goalie and playing some shortstop and back to that reaction position. Don't look like it slipped out of Smoltz's hands. And it's 2-2. And just in case, you see how deep they are in the infield, because Ramon does not run well, and they would have the extra time to make the throw.
Smoltz started into his windup and then wasn't really pleased with the pitch selection. There you see the left side deep and shaded toward the line.
Seems to be in ahead 0-2. Smoltz has allowed Martinez to work into 3-2.
Well, Bobby Cox was probably thrilled to get Martinez up with 2 outs, and now he's got a 3-2 count.
Ramon with a pretty good at bat.
Hanging tough, isn't he?
I got to assume, again, this is the #1 pick, right? You don't see anything else.
No, you're not trying to be cute here.
Javi is saying, wait a minute, what happened here? We were 0-2 to this guy.
I think you just got to try to power him up. Ramon Martinez hasn't been able to get around at all. You don't want to walk him and bring the leadoff guy up with 2 outs. We got a chance to have a 1-2-3 inning and finish off the Dodgers here in the 7th with the pitcher.
Again, Martinez staying alive, and the fans appreciate it as well they should.
He threw him a breaking ball.
This is great. It's the best at bat of the day for the Dodgers.
I'll tell you one thing, he is making Smoltz work. 111 pitches now, and Ramon Martinez is providing some stiff competition here.
Well, he finally gets him, but if nothing else, he ups the pitch count and does a good job at the plate. We have played 7 on a sun-soaked afternoon. Pitching is the game. Back at Dodger Stadium, Chris Berman along with Buck Martinez. 1-1 Braves Dodgers game 1 of this best of 5, and it's been everything that's been advertised. Ramon Martinez, who just had a great at bat against John Smoltz, only to strike out. Now we'll try his hand at the bottom of the Braves lineup. Jeff Blauser 0 for 2, John Smoltz 0 for 2, and then to the top mark, Pete Grissom, who was 1 for 3. Fastball outside, 1-1.
It appears to me that Ramon Martinez still has good velocity with his fastball. show any signs at all of losing anything here in the 8th inning. The slider just missed inside. He has not thrown many breaking balls all day long. He threw 3 in a row to Marquise Grissom. And Marquise hit the 3rd one up the middle back in the 4th and eventually came around to score.
Ripped to center field, and Blauser is aboard. A sharp single to center field by Blauser. Just the 3rd hit for the Braves this afternoon. Tonight at 7:30 on ESPN, an up-close anniversary special with Roy Firestone from Disney World in Orlando. Roy's guest, Alex Rodriguez. Doesn't get much better than that, the way this youngster played for the Mariners. Isaiah Thomas, now in management with Toronto. Don Shula, needs no footnote. We know who Don is, the Don. And Steve Spurrier. Don Shula was with him a couple weeks ago. All-time NFL. That'll be great. That's coming up at 7:30 tonight after SportsCenter. Well, we're thinking about a pinch hitter. There's nobody up and throwing in the Braves bullpen, so no question that Smoltz, who handles the bat well, and what he's going to do.
Well, they were showing bunt first time, and I tell you one thing, he's going to have to put down a perfect bunt because Wallach and Karras are right there with him, almost in the batter's box by the time he squares around. Watch them charge. Martinez steps on. Now Jimmy Williams is going through a new set of signs to John Smoltz. Maybe it's a decoy, maybe not. But Smoltz looked at the runner at first base as he got back in the batter's box. Maybe they're going to play hit and run. Nope, bunt all the way.
Here's a bunt that Karras will tag Smoltz, and he did the job. You're right, Buck. It was a tough place to bunt it with everybody in the park knowing what was coming. But again, the Braves execute the little things. So 1 out, and Blauser is at second base. And a reminder that SportsCenter, normally on at 6:30 Eastern, will be on a little bit afterwards. After our game is over here, highlights of the Orioles win over the Indians. Update, off day in between games 1 and 2 of the Pods Card Series. NHL starts this weekend. You'll see the opening game on ESPN Friday night. And plenty more. So John Smoltz, that's on SportsCenter following you. Smoltz does the job. And now Marquise Grissom will try and plate Blauser. Grissom singled and scored the lone Brave run in the 4th inning on Fred McGriff's fly ball. Singled, stole a base, moved to third by Lemke and a grounder. And a couple of batters later, McGriff delivered a fly ball.
Changeup missed down and in. Remember, the last base hit Grissom got, Martinez threw him 3 straight breaking balls, and he hit the 3rd one right back up the middle and eventually came on to score, as Chris mentioned.
Is either pitcher tiring to you, Buck? I don't think that's an issue at all. Ripped up the middle. Gagne will have to fire it. This time he puts some mustard on it over to Karras. Grissom, who runs, is gone, and Blauser is at third with 2 outs.
Well, Gagne doesn't have that same strong arm that we have seen in the past, but he unloads in a hurry.
Second baseman.
He was mindful of Grissom coming out of the box with those good wheels, and watch how quickly he gets into a throwing position and throws the sidearm toss on the money for the out. He's had shoulder problems all year long, and he's really kind of struggling with his throwing, that so far it hasn't been a concern. He's thrown a couple in the dirt. Don't take anything for granted with Lemke here at the plate. He's liable to drag one down the first baseline.
Lemke 0 for 3, fouls the first pitch off, but the one, he certainly gave himself up on the ground ball in the 4th inning. Grounded to first, grounded to second, flew out to left. Really little second baseman that's been such a steadying force in many ways on this ball club through the years. Working Lemke away, count is 1-1. Dodgers will have their top of the order up in the 8th inning. against John Smoltz. Smoltz, he says, we just need 90 feet for Plowsman. Give me a lead. I'll take care of it. Doesn't look like it. DeShields, Carroll, and the Braves are gone in the 8th. Stranding runner with third base. The Dodgers, top of the order, tries to back up the mound mastery of Ramon Martinez. We return to the bottom of the 1-1 bottom of the 8th at Chavez Ravine, and the Goodyear Blimp Eagle has helped us out with these aerial pictures. They travel over 100,000 miles every year covering major sporting events, and we're glad that this is one of them. Thank you, guys. Wayne Kirby, Todd Hollandsworth, Mike Piazza against John Smoltz here in inning number 8.
Boy, has he got that outside corner zeroed in, both against lefties and righties. He has worn out the outside corner all day long. Once again, right there. Coming in, that's what the Dodgers expected from John Smoltz, and he has been there. He made one great pitch inside, and I tell you, Ramon Martinez has matched him pitch for pitch. Only 7 hits in this ball game.
A nice ovation for Ramon when he walked off the mound, but very un-LA-like. Ground ball. Oh, it took a funny hop on McGriff, but Smoltz is alert and gets over there. And Kirby is out. Now you talk about the mastery of these pitchers. You look at the lines, very similar for Ramon Martinez and John Smoltz.
Left fielder.
It's very scant. Obviously, 1 run apiece. Walks. All right, they'd like to have 0 or 1, but strikeouts. I mean, not much to choose from between these two. That's why we're tied.
Well, we told you this series was going to feature the starters, and Game 1 certainly has done that with Smoltz and Martinez setting the tone.
Strike on the outside corner to Hollandsworth. Hollandsworth drove in the lone run in the 5th with a pool cue shot just inside the bag at 3rd. This doesn't bring back the memories here of the games in Dodger Stadium. Wow, the action now. Radinsky, the left-handed pitcher, and of course Todd, we are the Worrell, the closer, just in case the run comes across here, and it's that time of the game already. So chopper, Smoltz is there, 2 outs. So boy, you look for a guy to a little cheek in the arm, or getting a little tired.
Catcher.
2 weak choppers in the infield in the 8th inning. Here's their man, Mike Piazza. "36 home runs on the season. What a time this would be." Hits it to right field. Back it goes. Back. But you needed the 3rd back. Jermaine Dye was there about 4 feet in front of the fence. Piazza gave it a ride. But we move to the 9th. Smoltz and Martinez. Oh, this is another day at the beach. They're just laughing. They haven't pitched that way. Back in the 9th inning of the nail-biting 1-1 game. John Smoltz held his breath while Piazza flew out to right, had the grin, and Ramon Martinez is finished. And boy, look at this, Buck. This is championship quality, this pitching lines.
And Bobby Cox and John Smoltz having a conversation, but 8 strong innings by both starters here tonight, and we've got a 1-1 ball game.
Left-hander Scott Radinsky is now in to pitch to the heart of the order here. Chipper Jones, Fred McGriff, and Ryan Klesko. You see Radinsky's number. You talk about a guy that's come back from illness as well. We talk about Brett Butler. Radinsky's story is equally warming.
I think this is where the Dodgers have an advantage, the depth of their bullpen. They both have a frontline closer, Worrell for the Dodgers and Wohlers for the Braves, but I think the guys that pitch ahead of Worrell are a little bit deeper than the Braves right now.
Now, first thing you do is you pitch to a switch hitter who has only 6 of his 30 homers from the right-hand side of the plate. And then you have McGriff and Klesko, who are left-handed hitters, and combined, these 3 are 0-9 against Radinsky.
You see the 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and Radinsky is kind of a guy that doesn't have a big windup. He just kind of comes set at the belt, cranks up that fastball, and it gets on you quick. Not a whole lot of movement, just good velocity. He's got a big sweeping curveball that he can start back door and take a lot out of it and kind of freeze those right-handed hitters. Hard to catch the outside corner.
Chipper is 0 for 2 in a walk today, and he only hit 196 against the Dodgers this year, driving in only 2 runs against this team. He's driven in at least 5 against everybody else. So for some reason, he's perplexed by Dodger pitcher, although he didn't really give them much credence to it, except that, hey, they're good. I mean, you know,
There's a lot
very good.
A lot of hitters in the National League walk back to the dugout shaking their heads when they face the Dodgers starting staff.
We talked about it before the game. It wasn't like, oh, man, they put me in a funk. It wasn't anything like that. It just, hey, Chris, they're pretty good pitchers.
You know, it's always been that way. Ride the bus into L.A. thinking about the Dodgers staff, and a lot of hitters start talking to themselves, man, this could be a rough series.
Although not exactly what Bill Russell had in mind, with Radinsky coming in and walking the first batter he faces. Chipper Jones is on at first base. I mean, one thing that Ramon Martinez and the bullpen that you're talking about, Buck, have going for him is, you know, it was not the Braves that had the best ERA in the National League or in all of baseball. Los Angeles Dodgers, 3.55. Actually, that was second half ERA. The Dodgers ERA led the National League, and the Braves were second. .46 to 3.52. You're scoring at home. Here's Fred McGriff now. As Radinsky misses, let me ask you this: it's Fred McGriff, but yet it's John Smoltz on the mound, 1-1 tie game. Does McGriff drop one down?
No.
I didn't think so, but
you got to ask.
I'm just asking.
No, not at all.
But we saw Klesko steal a base. That's the reason I asked.
Well, you see Terry Pendleton, the veteran, out on deck. He is prepared to hit in Klesko's spot. Bobby Cox, the manager, trying to get a good matchup here with Radinsky on the mound. That's Mark Wohlers, the Braves closer.
Boy. Radinsky having trouble finding the plate. Last thing he wants to do is drop one in there for McGriff. Again, this one was inside and high. What is Ramon Martinez thinking at this point?
He's pulling for Radinsky right now. You know, he had a very emotional day and threw a lot of pitches. The criteria to go to the bullpen is the stuff out of the bullpen better than the starters? And it may be at this point, given the velocity of Radinsky, but right now he's battling his control a bit. Martinez has the satisfaction of doing his job and pitching a strong 8 innings.
McGriff to center field. Kirby went the wrong way on it, but has time to readjust. Make the play. Jones back to first, 1 out.
Got everybody's attention. Initially, you thought that McGriff really caught that ball, but it looked like it was down the end of the bat.
As we pointed out a moment ago, Terry Pitt and the Pendleton will now be the pinch hitter. The 1991 MVP in the National League when he was a member of the Braves, reacquired
For the Braves,
mid-season from the Florida Marlins.
Number 5, Terry
Pendleton originally thought that he might be the third baseman in the postseason, but those plans have changed at least much of the time. He's 0 for 4 as a pinch hitter. And Bill Russell will go and talk to Radinsky or maybe make a move. Osuna was back up in the Dodger pen.
Radinsky has had some problems with his control, and he got a lot of arms out of that bullpen and a lot of options for Billy Russell right here. He might go right to the right-hander. He's talking to Radinsky. What do we like here? We like the matchup with Pendleton batting right-handed. Not much different in Pendleton's average, right or left-handed. He has hit 189 right-handed, well, 200 left-handed.
He's made the call. Now, you know, Billy doesn't have the good poker face because he went out and looked 3 times at the bullpen while he was walking to the mound. So Radinsky is gone. Osuna will be in. The wheels are churning in a 1-1 game. All right, right, Gary, thank you. That was exciting in Baltimore, certainly, and this didn't get much more exciting than this. The wheels churning with a runner at first base now. Radinsky gone, and part of that international house of pitching for Billy Russell. From Mexico, 23-year-old right-hander Antonio Osuna.
Born in Sinaloa, Mexico, and Osuna has got a blazing fastball. He's a strikeout pitcher, 85 strikeouts this season in 84 innings.
Chipper Jones, the runner at first with 1 out, 1-1, 9th inning. Fastball against the corner to Terry Pendleton, the pinch hitter, strike 1. A little bit farther outside, doesn't get the call from Steve Ripley, 1-1. Dodgers in the 9th inning of Karros, Mondesi, and Wallach, 4, 5, 6.
This is Pendleton's 6th trip to the postseason. 85 and 87 with the Cardinals, and then 91, 92, 93 with the Braves, and he's back here again with the Braves for the 4th time.
There goes Jones, hit and run, but missed. And the old double whammy. Mike Piazza's shown a good arm this afternoon. He's come up firing, and the gamble does not pay off for the Atlanta Braves.
Bobby Cox banking on the veteran Terry Pendleton to put the ball in play. Swings through the pitch, and Mike Piazza cuts down Chipper Jones at second base. Fastball away, and you can see Pendleton swings right through it, and Piazza throws a strike to second, and they cut down Chipper Jones.
Another touchdown, Terry Pendleton. Boy, Osuna comes in, the smoke works, the fans are on their feet. The Dodgers have a chance to win it in the bottom of the 9th. The heavy metal coming up for the Dodgers. Can they solve the riddle that's been John Smoltz? We're back, and Eric Karros rips the first pitch, but Marquise Grissom is there. Oh, man, Karros, who likes to swing at the first pitch, almost had himself an extra base hit, but the veteran Grissom was there and got a good jump on the ball, and that's what saved it.
Number 43.
Grissom was shaded into right center. He got a long run on the left field side of second base, and you can see just determination right there allows him to make that catch. What an effort by Marquise Grissom. That goes to the wall at least for a double, maybe 3.
Yeah, I was thinking 3. Wow, and Grissom is the veteran out there between 2 youngsters. Andrew Jones has gone into left now to replace Tesco, who was pinch hit for by Pendleton, and of course Jermaine Diaz in right field. There's young Andrew Jones. Raul Mondesi, who was 0 for 3, hit a ooh, it's for Raul. So here we are in the bottom of the 9th of a 1-1 game, and of course John Smoltz, you're figuring, well, he hadn't been in this situation before. Wrong. Game 7 of the NLCS against Pittsburgh in 91, shutout, complete game. Game 7 of that series in 91, he dueled Jack Morris, a game eventually won by the Twins. The Francisco Cabrera game, 92, 7th game against Pittsburgh, he was the starter. Just to name part of his resume. So this isn't going to make him with the sweaty palms.
Not at all, even though he is working in the 9th with 122 pitches under his belt. Smoltz says, I have success in the postseason because I'm not afraid of failure.
Mondesi launches this to center, but gets under it. Again, it's Grissom. Boy, that one kept going a little bit, but Grissom had a beat on it, and there are 2 fly balls to center field here in the 9th.
Number 29.
Bobby Cox says Greg McMichael and Denny Nagel up throwing. He's smiling because he knows Mondesi didn't. He just missed it, Buck.
Boy, look at that pitch. A slider down away from him, and he still almost drove it out of the ballpark.
Here's McMichael throwing along with Denny Nagel. You know what? That's the 12th pitch he's made in the 8th and 9th innings, and every one has been a strike. Speaking of ice water in the vein, Tim Wallach played some good defense at third. He's 0 for 3. Here he goes to right field again. Could this one curl around? Ooh, was there against those temporary seats. That was potential trouble. But Dye was there, and we will move to extra innings. Dodgers 8. Well, an old-fashioned pitcher's duel, just like the ones we would see in the days of Koufax and Drysdale and on to Oral, etc. It's no strange event here at Dodger Stadium. And more baseball for Sports Center after this game, and at 11 o'clock tonight. Rangers and Yankees, that game is on Fox this evening. And baseball tonight with Carl Ravitch, Peter Gammons and the gang. That's tonight. That's tonight's baseball lineup. And then we do it all over again tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern time, followed by a baseball tonight at 3:30. We have game 2 of the Pods and the Cards. So we move to the 10th inning. And Antonio Osuna, who in 2 pitches provided lightning for the Dodgers in the 9th inning, now works for Lopez, Dye, and Blauser. 6, 7, 8.
Man, you talk about some pitches. This ball game has seen some pitchers wear out the corners with some big-time fastballs. John Smoltz has had the corner locked in since the first pitch of the ball game.
Tried the other corner, did Osuna. And it's 1 and 2 to Lopez. Javi is 0 for 3. Line is short. Pop to the catcher. Grounded to third. Johnson sets up on the outside. Osuna a little bit farther out than he'd like. 2 and 2. Welcome to the postseason, Bobby. You waited longer than everybody else to get started, and now you're going to get your money's worth. You wanted to play. Soon enough misses outside, so he was up 0-2, now 3 and 2.
Well, I've been down in that dugout with Bobby Cox before when I played with him in Toronto, and I know he can look calm, but he is really intense here. He wants this first game. He'd love to have 2, but he knows he's going to go up against a tough Dodger staff.
We'll do it again at 3 and 2. Now, speaking of postseason, you know who's his stomach is turning a little bit. Here's Tommy with Joe, his wife. Al Campanis to the left of Tommy. They've seen a few games in their time, has not this trio?
They have seen some championship ball games, haven't they?
They've seen some pitcher duels in this park. This is no new sight for them. Lopez fouls it back.
Tell you one thing about Bobby Cox. He won't take anything for granted anytime he's in the postseason. 1985 with the Blue Jays, we were up 3-1 to Kansas City, and the Royals came back and beat us. So he knows how important each and every one of these postseason games are.
Lopez hanging in.
You can say all you want to about the home run and what a thrilling play it is for baseball, but there's nothing like a tight pitcher's duel. Every pitch, everybody in the ballpark is focused at home plate.
You know, seen a few in this park. Sutsky. Don Sutton. 300 wins, so many of them here for the Dodgers. Now a Braves announcer. He was involved in many of them himself. Ripped to right center field. Back it goes. Back. Gone! Javi Lopez with a home run off Osuna. And the Braves have forged ahead 2-1.
Well, Javi Lopez finished up the season with a lot of power. He hit 23 home runs and had some big homers in September, but none bigger than the one he hits here in October. He's got good power the opposite way, as we talked about, and he got a fastball away from him and drives it out of the ballpark. That's the first home run the Braves have hit off of Osuna. And John Smoltz has a 1-run lead.
Now Lopez hit 1 against the Reds in the NLCS, 1 against the Indians in the World Series, and now he's done the deed here in Los Angeles. And we told you going in, outset of the telecast, if push comes to shove.
That ball hit Mike Piazza in the ribs. Looked like it hit him right underneath the chest protector. He kind of got his body tilted, and he has been beaten up here in the last stages of this season. No, it hit him on the hand. It looked like, watch how he turns his body. See how he turns his body to the side? And then that ball looked like it hit him on the bicep. Just bounced up, caught him up on the bicep, and the feeling in that hand has gone out of it.
Well, we told you at the outset, Buck, while we have a minute, and hopefully Michael is all right. Here it is.
A fastball away, and that has been the featured pitch here today at Dodger Stadium. And this time, Javi Lopez connects and drives it over the 385 mark in right center.
One difference between these two clubs. Pitching is almost even. The Dodgers slightly ahead in the ERA. But home runs, 197 to 150. Braves hit 47, now 48 more homers than did the Dodgers. In a tight game, they do have that. Not as much as they normally would with Justin. And that fastball will sit Jermaine Dye down, 1 out. And speaking of heat, in case Smoltz gets in trouble, mark Bay City Wohlers.
Shortstop.
The all-star closer is up and ready in the Atlanta pen.
Blauser.
Well, he's down talking to John Smoltz about how he feels, but I can't imagine Smoltz coming out to work them out of the 10. And then a closer of the quality of Mark Wohlers, and he turned over to him.
Jeff Blauser fouls that out of play. What do you mean, how does he feel? He's great. 2-1 lead.
He feels real good, but he might be a little tired right now.
Yeah, but you don't think there's any chance?
Oh, you never know with Coxie, but you can bet he is down there checking out with, hey, 125 pitches. He's given you 9 full innings. He's put you in front, and you're supposed to go to the closer.
I know that, but they ran Klesko. They didn't bunt McGriff. All right.
What do you think, Leo? I don't know, Bobby. You make the decision. That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Well, one clue is that Polonia is in the on-deck circle in case Smoltz comes up. So there's one clue.
Coxie's got to go to Wohlers.
Fastball up top to Blauser, 2-2. Looking ahead to the Dodger 10th inning, it's 7-8-9. To Shields, Gagne, and then the pitcher spot. Gagne is the best hit ball today for the Dodgers. That and the one that Carroll hit in the 9th inning. Gagne's double. 2-4-1, 1-4-0. About as basic as you can get. Talk about a guy that we will probably see in the 10th inning. Billy Ashley. Blauser draws the base on balls with 1 out. And now we know it will be Wohlers because Luis Polonia will be the pinch hitter for John Smoltz. So Smoltz's line will be complete. 1 run, 4 hits.
Your attention, please. For the Braves. Now batting for Smoltz. Number
7 strikeouts.
Luis Polonia.
2 walks. Another day at the office for the who should be the Cy Young Award winner. Well, apologies to Kevin Brown, but 24-8. And the first guy Smoltz since Mike Scott 10 years ago to have over 276 strikeouts. I mean, he's put together a season the likes of which we don't see that often.
Well, he's going up in the locker room to pack that shoulder in ice right now. He has done his job. Poloni is going to come on as a pinch hitter now for Bobby Cox, and that in Smoltz's spot. He's 4 for 15 as a pinch hitter.
That's away. Well, Osuna came in with so much heat and so much zip, but that home run has taken the zip out of his game on the mound, out of play, and the zip out of the crowd, which was very boisterous for Dodger Stadium standards. Back down to normal standards now. Now the count is 2-0 to the pinch hitter, Poloni. Strike low and away. There's the good fastball. Osuna warming up again. The count is 2-2.
Had a much better delivery right there. Got the fastball down in the strike zone.
Bob Lee, Charlie Steiner waiting for Sports Center. We're working on it, guys. The Dodgers and Braves have other things to do, though. But they're big fans of Sports Center, make no mistake about it. Bye as soon as we're done here. Outside, count now full to Poloni with Grissom on deck. Boy, his defensive play on Carroll's looms awfully large at this point. Here goes the base runner, Blauser. And another double whammy. Piazza's thrown out 3 of the 5 that have attempted to steal. So that rally is quelled, but not until Javi Lopez, the man of the hour. His home run to right center has given the Braves a 2-1 lead. Can Mark Wohlers close the door? Just to prove that they're not just watching baseball, Bob and Charlie getting set to bring you what? I know, we're getting set to bring us Sports Center, though it'll be the old proverbial sawed-off version of Sports Center, which we all know and love so well, guys. Quite a ball game here at Chavez Ravine. Chris Berman, along with Buck Martinez and Mark Bay City Wohlers, has come on to try and close the door for John Smoltz. He has a new shortstop in the game as well, and here's what Wohlers has done: 39 saves, 4th in the National League.
Mark Wohlers has saved 3 of 4 ball games that he has appeared in against LA this season. 39 saves on the season. Bobby Cox goes with his big closer after John Smoltz pitched 9 strong innings.
Rafael Belliard is the shortstop, in for defensive purposes for Blauser. I would assume if you're scoring, they could have double switched it, maybe not, but that, he hopes, is not an issue. The Shield, Gagne, and a pinch hitter, and we got to assume it's Billy Ashley. Delino reached on an error by Lopez. Yeah, oh yeah, he's got the batting gloves on and ready, watching every move by Wohlers. That'll be fire against fire. In there for a strike. 0-2. Wohlers quickly ahead of the Shields.
Mark Wohlers really became a dominant pitcher when he was able to get command of his fastball and bring into the mix a very good split finger pitch. And you got to think about it, 99-mile-an-hour fastball and a splitter. Pretty tough assignment.
Chopped away. You know, before we close the door on what John Smoltz did, after Hollinsworth's RBI double in the 5th, he retired all 13 guys he faced. The Dodger bench hoping we can come through with at least one. The task is tough. Wohlert, all-star reliever. There's the man that is trying to do it with the long ball. 0-2 the count to DeShields. Bottom of the 10th. 2-1 Braves. DeShields thought it was up top. It dropped down just at the end. Delino froze it, and there's one out here in the 10th.
Boy, that was a wicked splitter. 88-mile-an-hour splitter. It's 10 miles slower than the fastball, but it's still hard, and you can see the break, and it cut the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, they want game one. They want to get off on the right foot. They know how tough this has been to come through, and the way Ramon Martinez pitched against them. So Delino will just sit, and Greg Gagne will come up. Doubled and scored in the 5th inning. Oh, it's a number that's amazing. Atlanta Braves in postseason in the 90s. You figure they own extra inning games. They're 3-8. Of course, they've won many in their last at bat in 9th innings. But they're only 3-8 extra inning postseason games. They stand to make it 4-8. They know how important it is to get going on the right foot in the postseason. 96-mile-an-hour pitch, Buck. Chopped foul by Gagne. It's 1-2. You should say that Dave Hansen is in the on-deck circle, not Billy Ashley for the Dodgers. He pinch hits for a living. One-two pitch on the way. Up top and outside. 2-2.
He missed with the slider that time. And at one time, everybody thought Wohlers are just going to blow you away with heat. But now he's got the full complement of pitches. Fastball, slider, and a devastating splitter.
Gagne, base hit to left field. Andrew Jones, they'll test his arm. No, they won't. Whoa, it's a good thing they did not. Greg Gagne with his 2nd hit of the afternoon has given the Dodgers and their fans some life.
Well, that was a high slider that Gagne hooked into left field. You see how it stays out over the middle of the plate, and he ripped it in the left. Watch the arm of Andrew Jones in left. He fires will strike to second base to keep Gagne right there at first. He has got a cannon for an arm and is 19 years old.
For the Dodgers. Now batting for Osuna.
Well, Hansen has been called back. And Dave Clark, another late season pickup from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He'll be the pinch hitter. So situational move here by Billy Russell. Russell is hoping that Dave Clark can make him glad all over.
Now Clark is a .277 pinch hitter with a home run and 6 RBI. So he has given Clark a shot at the long ball.
So the Dodgers just with 5 hits, 2 of them by Gagne. Now the crowd back into it. That was nasty diving pitch, and Clark waved at it, strike 1. It's on all just peanut shells, and there's some fingernails on the floor of the dugout. Even Bobby rocking a little. No pitch.
Took too long. Dave Clark asked for time just before Wohlers started his delivery. Went back to the umpire that suggests, hey, maybe I was already going.
Clark, and I know, we don't like to go to these numbers all the time, but 3 for 5 lifetime against Wohlers, including a home run, which came this year.
Now, that's important when you're a pinch hitter, that you've had some success against the guy you're going to face in a crucial situation. Look at Marquise Grissom in left center. There's a big gap between Grissom and Dye in right field. Boy, that's that wicked splitter again. You can see that it really fooled Dave Clark. He felt like that pitch was coming in at him. Watch how he buckles here. Fastball, nope. Splitter.
0-2 count. Lopez got crossed up on that one as Wohlers came inside and to make a quick move to make sure that Gagne stayed at first.
Center fielder, number 55.
You see how he's sitting outside. This is a splitter, and he throws it right into the dirt, and Javi had to smother it. Clark goes to first, but he is out with the base runner at first base.
I can't believe how many people, for some reason, just got up to leave. Doesn't get much more exciting than this. What's the rush? Mean Kirby. Talk about some steam.
Well, you got to get ready when you step in against Wohlers. He came after Kirby with a fastball. He was thinking fastball, but fouled that 98-mile-an-hour heater back to the screen. Now you got to deal with that splitter.
Wasn't much more Ramon Martinez could do. A helpless feeling for him, hoping Wayne Kirby can come through. He just waved through that one. 0-2. Wohlers has come in and, if possible, turned up the oven that was pretty hot when John Smoltz was pitching. Kirby staying alive. Maddox and Valdez tomorrow. In Atlanta on Saturday. Nomo for the Dodgers against Tommy Glavine for the Braves.
Mark Wohlers just called out Javi Lopez from behind the plate to make sure they're both on the same page here. 0-2. Kirby had a good hack. They've thrown him 3 straight fastballs. Wohlers wanted to make sure his catcher understands where he wants to go next.
With a snap of the catcher's glove all the way up here, and there's the reason. Kirby laid off. It's 1-2.
Not only do you have to deal with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and 88-mile-an-hour splitter, but you've got that sunlight in the background and home plate's in the shade. Tough to pick up the ball.
Skies it. Chipper Jones calling for it. And the Braves have taken step 1 towards what they hope will end in a successful defense of their world championship. John Smoltz on the mound. Javi Lopez with a home run in the 10th. And Mark Wohlers nails it down.
Well, John Smoltz now 6-1 in the postseason, and the Braves take the early advantage. 2-1 here in 10 innings for Bobby.